All right, guys, we should be going live here soon. We're live on YouTube. And let's take a look at Instagram. And we are live on Instagram. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. So here we go. Some knuckle cracking out of the way. And get this started, guys. Just literally started the stream right now. Thanks for joining and logging in. We're going to get going on YouTube. Going to wait for some people to get online. While we do that, I'm going to show you my Instagram. So we're going to just look at this together. I didn't check it out until now. I wait to do it with you guys. So here it is. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Good morning, State Line. What's up, buddy? How are you? You and I have a lot to talk about when I get off stream today. Today I have time. Let me make sure my sound is good. Okay, my sound is good. I was like, shit, maybe my sound's off again. So we do have quite a bit to talk about, bro. So when we get off, please remind me to hit you up. Oh, another day? Yeah, another day. Yeah, it's another day, bro. It's another beautiful day, man. We're above ground. We're chilling. We're alive on this earth at the same time, bro. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Proud Bubby says hello. Hope all is well. What's up? Hope all is well with you as well. Guys, if you're on the Instagram live stream and you want to get involved with the chat, just know that the YouTube, if you go to YouTube, the chat is more alive on YouTube. And there's a lot more of us chatting on YouTube. And so that's the screen that you see below. This is the YouTube chat. This one, let me see if I got this right. This one is the Instagram chat. This is YouTube. But yeah, thanks for joining, guys. We're kind of getting warmed up. I'm going to go through my Instagram real quick for you guys. You can check it out while I'm checking it out. I've just saved it so we can do it together. So here we go. Let me see what I got going on here. We got that. We got Chrome. We got ZV. We got my journal here. We're going to go through my journal a little bit. Show you kind of just quick, nothing crazy. We're not going to go deep into it today. Just going to show you how I journal, what I do. And so I'll show you how that goes. Come to the dark side. We are waiting. Yes, sir. It's always fun, man. Against today's State Line, I did the same thing as we did yesterday, man. So I did subscribers only. And let me double check that setting. Yes, subscribers only. So it should be nice and smooth and clean with the occasional people that run in here trying to throw up all over us and run away. So it's all good. We're happy to have dialogue. And anyway, so this is my journal. Yeah, it's a laid back chat that way. So this is my journal. We're going to do a little bit of that. I also got underneath the journal, I also have the 48 Laws of Power. I showed you this the other day. We'll open this up and we'll go through and I'm going to start it off with the law number 1 because we haven't even got into that yet. I've been wanting to do that and we haven't done it. So I want to get into that and we'll go through that. Let me move my phone over here. Just kind of bring this stuff out of that way. So it's kind of over there. Now we got it here. Got my coffee right here too. So just kind of letting you guys see a little bit about what I'm doing here, man. So we got all that set up and dialed in. So that's good. Here's my Instagram. Today, I saw a lot of people were reposting my reels. So you guys want to see what that looks like. I'm going to go to this screen. Oh, actually, I have the Great White Hope shirt on today. State Line, I really want to get you in on this one, so we'll get this going. He says it's chat live. Yes, it is live. It is always a low turnout to start. It takes a little time for YouTube to get warmed up, but this is the Great White Hope.
The Great White Hope. The Great White Hope.
All right. So those of you that don't know who the Great White Hope is, there he is. He's right here. You see him a lot on your screens these days, unlike our previous president. All right. I'm running over my cables here, and it's the whole thing, man, doing this. So, okay. So here we are. Now here's my Instagram. I'm going to pull this back up. Let me see if I can get this going. It's connecting to my, I'm doing this. I'm showing you what I see on my actual phone. All right. So this is my phone. This is my Instagram. And I'm going to go through it in just a second. It says Democrats explain to young Republicans they're supposed to engrave their message on their. All right. So what I was going to show you is this right here. So when I go here, this is what I see on my notifications, and the place where I okay. So where are we, guys? Where are we? Over here. Yeah. So state line. Yeah. Chat is live, and we're all good. Okay. Cool. So guys, if you're curious, this is just me going through my Instagram. I'm going to do this until we get kind of warmed up and get more viewers on. This is what it looks like when I go to notifications. Today, I noticed a lot of people were reposting my reels. And so I'm going to show you what that looks like. Again, I know some of you have seen it. Mo, what's up, buddy? Thanks for joining. Here we go. I'm going to do a refresh here. And let me go back and do a refresh if it lets me. Let me see here. Let me do a refresh. And then like this. Okay. So if you look right here, it says mentions, 32 stories mention you. Okay. So this is, I'm just going to go through this so you guys can see what that looks like. And I'm going to see which stories of mine they are reposting. Okay. So here we go. So click on this. And as it pulls up, now you can see at the top of your screen, all these white dots. Each one of those is someone reposting one of my reels. Okay. And I'm going to go here and go all the way to the beginning so you guys can see which ones they're reposting, okay? State line, I don't know if I've ever have I showed you this before? I'm not sure, but let me put the sound on. Is there a way for me to put the sound on? Sound, no. Let's see here. 1 second. Let's get some sound. And I am not hearing the sound on it. Anyway, so this is these are the stories they're reposting. Let me see, is sound even on the phone? Let's see here. I don't know. We'll keep going, but these are the stories that they are currently reposting of mine. I'm going to go through it. Ready, set, go. This one. And you can see the white bars at the top as I'm going through each story. So this is Charlie Kirk. This one about Poland and Muslims. This is about if it's both sides or not. So I'm just going to go through this. So 32 of these stories are mentioning, and you can see which ones they are. These are all different ones. Okay. And at the top, you can see the person that is or putting my reel on their story. All these here. So that's cool. Went up. I'm at 70,600. I went up about 400 followers from last night till now. So that's pretty cool. The momentum is growing. It's a lot faster now, which is really great. And then let's jump into some of the, let's see here. Saved. So these are some of the posts that I was recently looking at, and you can see some of them. There's a couple good ones here that are important. Some funny ones. This is kind of funny, but you can't hear it here. So I'm going to switch off my phone, and I'm going to go into something else so that we can hear all this. And here we go. Here we are. This is the same thing, but on my desktop. And let's go. Let's get going. This is something I didn't know about that I recently found out about, but there are some more here that are pretty important. Here's one that I didn't know about this hearing, but we're going to play this anyway. See if you guys have heard this.
People of Minnesota. You have failed the people of Minnesota to provide free health care to illegal aliens. You signed the Higher Education Omnibus Bill into law in May of 2023. That bill allows illegals to have their college tuition paid for by the state. You signed the Driver's License for All Act into law in March of 2023, and that bill allows illegals to receive driver's licenses. So, you claim you're not a sanctuary state. You just provide free health care, free college, and driver's licenses to illegal aliens. One reason you're here testifying before us today is because you refuse to cooperate with ICE. While states like Florida and Virginia empower their law enforcement to detain and remove criminal illegal aliens, you, sir, have done just the opposite. Your Attorney General is directing law enforcement to ignore ICE immigration detainers. Do you agree with the Attorney General's guidance?
Well, Congressman, it's good to see you again, and thank you for being here. First, I would say as my job as governor of Minnesota is to make Minnesota the best state in the nation.
Do you agree with the Attorney General's guidance?
Congressman, what I would say on this is that Minnesota follows all law.
It's a very easy question. You're not a sanctuary state, but you support policies that prevent ICE from doing their job. On May 23rd, 2018, you tweeted, quote, "I support policies that keep law enforcement from enforcing federal laws," close quote. On May 17th, just this spring, at the University of Minnesota Law School's commencement ceremony, you said, quote, "Donald Trump's modern-day Gestapo is scooping folks up off the streets." When you said the words modern-day Gestapo, you were referring to ICE agents. Gestapo, by the way, sir, was the official secret police of Hitler's Nazi Germany. So you're calling ICE agents modern-day Nazis. Given the attacks on ICE agents that took place in Los Angeles over the weekend, don't you regard your dangerous inflammatory rhetoric as a problem? So, sir, it saddens me that you refuse to express regret from comparing ICE to Nazis. ICE agents are brave Americans who get up every morning, leave their families, and put their lives in harm's way to protect our country, sir. You, at the very least, owe an apology to these dedicated public servants. I will say, sir, inflammatory rhetoric such as yours and the other governors on this panel is responsible for putting a target on the back of every ICE agent who is risking their life to protect our communities. In May 2020, looting, acts of violence, and arson occurred on your watch in Minneapolis after you refused to bring in the National Guard. Governor, your agenda is clear. Free health care, free college and driver's licenses for illegals while handcuffing law enforcement when they're trying to protect our citizens and their communities. If you think that's not a sanctuary state, you shouldn't be governor. By turning Minnesota into a magnet for illegals, you have opened up our communities to dangerous criminals, including known terrorists, gang members, murderers, and child predators. You have sent a resounding message that if you're a hard-working, law-abiding citizen of Minnesota, your safety and well-being are not the priorities of Tim Walz and his administration. But if you're coming to our state illegally, you're not only welcome with open arms, you're entitled to free stuff on the taxpayer's dime. This is absolutely disgraceful.
So there you have it. I know the video's kind of cut up a little bit, and I wouldn't say cherry picked, but they kind of got to the point on it, and it was phenomenal. It's a good kind of eye-opening video. I mean, honestly, we're not that surprised. Nobody's surprised on either side of the political spectrum. You're not surprised. If you're on the left, you know what Tim Walz is all about and what he's pushing, and on the right, you definitely know what he's doing. So that's one of those. Here's one that is a real. Let me see if I can find this one on. Let me just see, Chris Cuomo. Let me see if I can find this somewhere else for us really quick, because on YouTube, I think it's a much better video for us. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see. Let's just play this here.
You know, sometimes when people make a game of something serious, they can actually win and force reasonable people to now have to beat them at their own game just to get back to the world of sanity. So tonight, I will say something that you have never heard me say, but it has to be said because the hypocrisy countenanced as silence is deafening. So I hope we all agree on this. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. No scarf, though, because I don't support savages.
State line, I don't follow Chris Cuomo enough to know, is he left or right? Because I see him, you know, kind of pushing on both sides. So just curious what your thoughts are.
But tell me, why are all the privileged no longer appropriating the oppression of these people in Gaza? You see what's being done to them? Did the internet go out where they all are?
At some point, I'm going to have to, like, remove those videos, like move the video out of my screen because it actually shows some crazy stuff. So while he's talking, he shows some pretty insane things.
Why are your clever cyber warriors about Israel and its inadequate concessions and yet silent about what Hamas just did to try to kill the deal? Why aren't they protesting the people who just announced they will kill all Gazans who do not comply? Do you remember Israel saying that? I don't. And they're not just saying it, they're doing it. Hamas is killing people in Gaza with impunity and putting it all over the internet.
Yes, and we're all watching it. We've all seen clips. I'm sure any of you that are watching right now have seen these clips. Someone on the Instagram side, O Woodfin, says, love him ripping them anew. He says, Charlie Kirk spoke the truth and all the left had for him is hate. See, he says he's on the right, but I thought he was on the right, but then I see videos and I think he's on the left. He's on both sides. I think State Line is right. State Line on YouTube side says he's a former liberal turned neutral. So interesting. And again, guys, if you're on the Instagram side and you want to have more conversation with other people and go back, you know, have some dialogue, the YouTube, if you come to my YouTube stream, there's a lot more people talking in chat on that side. Just an FYI.
Say it with me. Free Palestine from these terrorist savages. How are we not all saying that? Is it really just about the Jews for you fools? Can't two things be true? That the situation with Israel had to change and the bloodthirsty caveman terrorists can't run free? But then why the silence? My answer? Because these social media scions are posers. Imagine if Israel said this: we declare a general mobilization, that means all their forces, in response to the call of national and
Guys, if you're just watching and you just tuned in, what he's saying right now is that right now, basically Hamas, so Israel has gone back. So they kind of retreated their forces as part of the deal to do the hostage exchange, free hostages on both sides. They freed the hostages and they pulled. They as part of the deal, Israel has pulled their line of defense or their line of their army back out of those areas in Gaza, and they basically, when they did that, Hamas went into those areas where they were not because Israel was there. So Hamas went back into those areas and is now killing their own fellow Palestinians, the very people that they are claiming they are there to protect. They are actually killing them themselves, and we're all watching the videos. However, I know that, you know, I watch both. I watch media on the left and right. The media on the left is not showing it. The media on the right shows it. Some media on the left does show it, some, but very few. But this is what Chris Cuomo is talking about. Hamas has literally gone back into the areas where they were not allowed because the Jewish army was there, and now they're actually killing their own people, Palestinians, in those areas. So this is what he's talking about. And this right here is what Hamas said. They said, we declare a general mobilization in response to the call of national and religious duty to cleanse Gaza of outlaws and collaborators with Israel. And a State Line, I'll put that video on. But this is what Hamas is saying.
Religious duty to cleanse Gaza of outlaws and collaborators, they then say Hamas, with Israel. By duty and cleanse, they mean this, and I'm not blurring it, I'm not sparing you anything. This is what they're doing, okay? I wish we had made it wider, and I want to keep it there. It's not AI, it's not even denied by Hamas. They are killing all but their own.
Yeah, guys, State Line is responding to you on YouTube. So you guys, Wood on Instagram, State Line is responding to you on YouTube. And basically what he's doing right now, I'm gonna change this video because I don't want to show that part of the video. So let me just move this around a little bit. So I'm just gonna go, even though he blurred it out, but I'm gonna move it out of the way because I just don't want to get hit with anything on the YouTube side. So Hamas is basically what he's just showing both sides. Alex on YouTube is asking how many have they killed. I don't know yet, but let's see what he says. Maybe he mentions it.
Isn't that a genocide? Probably not, but you might as well say it is. It's pretty bad, but no. I say it. Free Palestine from this occupation and oppression. Hamas stole aid for years to build tunnels, build their own military, killed their own people, brutalized women, brutalized minorities. You want to blame Israel for all these things? Things I don't even think they did. But Hamas now does it all with your silence and complicity. There are even calls to blame the violence that's happening on your screen there. Last time I checked, don't see a lot of Mossad agents wearing green headbands in Gaza. But it's their fault. Why? Because Israel helped arm a militia group in Rafah that opposes Hamas? But no condemnation for these savages. This is why I come at you. This is why I say you are not real ones. I don't care how many clicks, how many followers, how much monetization it gets you. You are anti-Semites for sport and rage bait. I say you have the freedom to do it, but you are wasting your freedom. Free Palestine from Hamas. Why aren't these people saying it if they're humanitarians who care about the people? You only care when it's Israel. Hamas puts out a warning. Any who survive this must surrender by next week, and if they don't, they will face strict punishment.
Guys, I'm hiding the part of the video that he's showing. He's basically showing the video of where Hamas is literally killing their own people. That's what he's showing. He's basically what he's saying, guys, if you're just tuning in, and he's saying, you guys are literally right now, Hamas is not only killing their own people, but they're actually like very proud of it, and they're displaying it and they're posting it all over the media, and they're just basically like showing it off. And this, yeah, so they're asking, she's asking, Proud Bubby is saying, when was this aired? This has been going on for the last couple of days, ever since the peace deal, and where Israel, as part of this hostage exchange, Israel moved back their line of defense and out of Gaza. And when they moved back, Hamas went into Gaza and is now in those areas that Israel was protecting, and they're now killing their own people in that area. And that's what we're seeing. And what Chris Cuomo is saying right now is, those of you that are worried about Palestinians that are saying free Palestine, where are you now when it's Hamas that's killing them openly, blatantly, intentionally? Where are you now? You kept saying free Palestine. Now that Hamas is doing it, you're okay with it. And you're not out there saying free Palestine. You were only doing it when you believed it was the Jewish that were doing it.
More strict than this? What do you think happens if they surrender? Where are your complaints? You complain the deal doesn't demand enough from Israel, but they release hundreds of dirtbags, withdraw, right? Even though their enemy is still their enemy. What does Hamas do? Starts killing Gazans, and then what does it do? Oh, it holds on to the hostages' dead bodies. Oh, and then what does it do? Puts out a statement: we refuse to disarm. Free Palestine! Free them from this! How embarrassing that these supposed pro-Palestinian humanitarians sit silent and actually need President Trump to say what they won't.
We have told them we want to disarm, and they will disarm. And if they don't disarm, we will disarm them. And it'll happen quickly and perhaps violently. But they will disarm. Do you understand me?
Yes, you say
because you always, everyone says, oh, well, they won't disarm. They will disarm. And I spoke to Hamas, and I said, you're going to disarm, right? Yes, sir, we're going to disarm. That's what they told me. They will disarm, or we will disarm them. Got it?
Hold on, Big D. Hold on. Now, I'm with you, doing that Free Palestine vibe to say they better disarm or else, but it can't be us. And I don't want to hear about Israel doing it. Israel's out. They should build a big wall, bigger than anything Trump ever dreamed of, between them and Palestine, just like Egypt did. You know, they're brothers in Islam.
If you guys don't understand what he's saying, basically what he's saying is because of this barbarism that's happening from Hamas killing their own people, as soon as Israel backs up and gets out of Gaza, Hamas comes in and uses the opportunity to start killing their own people in Gaza. So that's literally happening right now. And what Chris is saying is Israel should build a wall bigger than the wall that Egypt built, basically, which at the time, and some will say still, is Muslim. And Hamas is Muslim, and Egypt were and still kind of are Muslim in some sense, and still Egypt did not allow them to go into Egypt. They themselves blocked their own fellow Muslims from coming into Egypt, and he's saying that Israel should be doing the same thing that Egypt did and don't allow them in there. That's what he's saying right now, just for context.
Only do what works for you, Israel, and America should do that too. It is up to the Arab world to finally finance their brothers. I do not think America should ever put boots where terrorists are allowed to run free until they come for us. And that's coming. So throw on your Hamas headscarf, hit the streets, free Palestine from the people who've been oppressing them the whole time. Hey, it even rhymes. Pretty good, right? Free Palestine from the savages who've been oppressing them the whole time. Get that going as a meme. People, especially in America, especially here, you better get on the same page of who the enemy is. And guess what? Not the Jews, okay? Not Israel, unless you are an extreme Islamist. Then you're right, they are your enemy, and you're mine as well. My enemy is extremism and fundamentalism, and I'm seeing it take root here in America more every day. My enemy is the magnified minorities in the two parties, the globalized, the intifada crowd, the people claiming Hamas are freedom fighters. That is the enemy. And people who are ignoring what Hamas is doing right now to their own people are hypocrites of the worst kind.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane. That is nuts, man. That is nuts. So that's what's happening right now. What's up, men? What's up, Random? It's morning here, and it's still morning in Southern California. I know it's noon for you guys. Thank you, State Line. Yeah, I'm trying to get to 5K here soon. Looks like we'll hit it here by the weekend if things keep going as planned. You guys over on the Instagram side, which is this chat right here, this white chat is Instagram. If you're in Instagram chat and you want more action and you want to talk to more people, this is YouTube. And if you go to the YouTube stream, there's a lot more people in the chat there. So just letting you know. All right, so let's keep moving. This was an interesting video. I've seen it before, but I want to watch it again because it kind of it hits on a lot of things. Here we go.
You see, the useful idiots, the leftists who are idealistically believing in the beauty of Soviet socialist or communist or whatever system, when they get disillusioned, they become the worst enemies. That's why my KGB instructors specifically made the point, never bother with leftists. Forget about these political prostitutes. Aim higher.
But to eliminate the others, to
Let's hear that again from the beginning, from the tippy.
You see, the useful idiots, the leftists who are idealistically believing in the beauty of Soviet socialist or communist or whatever system, when they get disillusioned, they become the worst enemies. That's why my KGB instructors specifically made a point: never bother with leftists. Forget about these political prostitutes. Aim higher.
But to eliminate the others, to execute the others, don't they serve some purpose? Wouldn't they be the ones we rely on?
They serve purpose only at the stage of destabilization of a nation. For example, your leftists in United States, all these professors and all these beautiful civil rights defenders, they are instrumental in the process of the subversion only to destabilize the nation. When their job is completed, they are not needed anymore. They know too much. Some of them, when they get disillusioned, when they see that Marxist-Leninists come to power, obviously they get offended. They think that they will come to power. That will never happen, of course. They will be lined up against the wall and shot. But they may turn into the most bitter enemies of Marxist-Leninists when they come to power. And that's what happened in Nicaragua. You remember most of these former Marxist-Leninists were either put to prison or one of them split, and now he's working against Sandinistas. It's the same pattern everywhere. The moment they serve their purpose, all the useful idiots are either be executed entirely, all the idealistically minded Marxists, or exiled or put in prisons, like in Cuba. Many former Marxists are in Cuba. In prison. You see.
Yeah. Hey Lola, how's it going? Good to have you. Going through some of these chats. Siegel on Instagram says Hamas is showing who they have been all along. Yep, absolutely, guys, absolutely. Okay, so we did some of that. We did some of this. And let's go right into some of this. Are you having technical difficulties? Maybe it's just you. Anybody else having technical difficulties? Let me know.
You create a company that's like close to being a fascist, and then like.
Okay. How am I? Sorry. Let's go through this. How am I a fascist?
No. Dude, like you.
Can you name one thing I believe that's fascist?
You believe that you on. Oh, shit.
Oh, random. Okay, so what's the deal? What do I got to do? We need an anti-7K hashtag. What's the issue? Is it still happening? Am I still having an issue? Is there an issue with my sound, or what's the issue?
But
I'm such a bad fascist. I let the people who disagree in open mic to talk to me for. How am I?
Sorry.
Let's go through this.
You said it's blurry. Maybe do a refresh on your screen. Let me take a look myself and see here. Seems to be all right. Oh, it's good now? Okay.
Names, kind of like Lululemon.
How am I a fascist?
They're not.
No. Dude, like you.
Can you name one thing I believe that's fascist?
You believe that you create a company that's like close to being a fascist, and then like.
Okay. How am I?
Sorry.
Let's go through this. How am I a fascist?
No. Dude, like you.
Can you name one thing I believe that's fascist?
You believe that you on. Oh, shit. Don't let him think.
But I'm such a bad fascist. I let the people who disagree in open mic to talk to me for 2 hours uninterrupted.
Okay.
I'm an awful fascist. I'm more like a free speech liberal of the 1970s, not a fascist.
But I just want to say Turning Point USA is a evil company that was funded by thousands of fracking companies, and that just.
No, it's not thousands, but we do have some frackers that give us money. But
yeah, and then all it is making the rich more. rich.
Fascism to fracking.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
Okay, again, I'm happy to have a debate. I can see you're getting kind of fired up.
I'm sorry.
So, but why are we evil? Like, we're having a nice discussion.
Because
all of a sudden you're calling me like
because
a fascist.
it seems like you just want the rich get even more rich. Like,
we haven't talked about the rich at all. I mean, so you don't even know my positions on this stuff at all. And by the way, just so we're clear, the wealthiest counties in the country all vote for Democrats. You know that, right? 8 out of 10 of the wealthiest counties in the country vote for Democrats. The wealthiest people, absent Elon Musk, are all on the left. Jeff Bezos, George Soros, Mark Benioff, Mark Zuckerberg, Laurene Powell Jobs. On the left, yes. The richer you are, the more likely you are to be a Democrat and on the left.
Explain that to me, please.
The numbers speak for itself. The Democrats are the party of the oligarchy. Can you name one tech CEO outside of Elon Musk that is a conservative?
I
Dang.
Let me think.
Dang.
Peter Thiel?
Yeah, that's one. That's one. Larry Page, Google, on the left, worth $120 billion. Sergey Brin, Google, $130 billion on the left. Laurene Powell Jobs, Mackenzie Bezos, Jeff Bezos.
If they're on the left, what has they done that was like, quote unquote, to do the left stuff?
Well, okay, so Larry Page gives money to left-wing NGOs all the time.
Like, if you're on the left, I don't think you will ever be this rich.
Well, they are. You know why? Because the left
because they're not.
No,
because they're not.
The left is a scam. The left uses
How
people.
is this?
Let me tell you why. It's a good question, actually. The left uses people like you that think that, oh, we're going to fight the rich. Well, they protect their oligarchy. While you guys have to keep on working hard and never own anything, when we conservatives are the ones that actually want to restore the American middle class and bring jobs back to this country.
How would you restore?
Let me finish. Let me finish.
Damn.
The left uses people like you every day. And they use people on you by the trans thing, the abortion thing. Keep voting for us because the fascists are going to take your rights away. When who's funding the left? The richest people. George Soros. Do you know who George Soros is?
Who is funding? Dude, I have never seen a leftist organization come to campus spreading their propagandas.
Well, because the whole university is a leftist organization spreading propaganda.
It's liberal. There is a clear-cut difference between a leftist and a liberal. Please make that
You're coming after this in a good way because I'll just say Democrat politics, okay?
Okay.
Almost every major, powerful, wealthy person in the country, over $100 billion in net worth, with the exception of one person, Elon Musk, is on the cultural left and gives money to the left. Mark Zuckerberg gave $400 million in the 2020 election to help get Joe Biden reelected through the Center for Technology and Civic Life. Mackenzie Bezos.
That helps his case, obviously. He would donate money to his...
Oh, okay, but hold on. One second. Mackenzie Bezos with $45 billion, major Biden backer. Laurene Powell Jobs worth $20 billion. Steve Jobs' widow, one of the most radical left-wingers in the Emerson Collective. Mark Benioff from Salesforce worth $12 billion. One of the most radical left-wing guys that you'll see out there. The eBay guy, Omador, one radical left-wing. It's so important for you on the left. You guys are being scammed and gamed, because they talk a good game about building the middle class, but it is not the party of democracy. It's the party of oligarchy. And you can go fact check me tonight, and you might actually have cognitive dissonance. Type in this: wealthiest counties in the country. They almost all vote for Joe Biden. Who gives the most political donations to the left? All the wealthy people. Go look up the top billionaires on the Forbes list, the top 100. Only about 10 of them give the Republican, the other 80 give the Democrat, the other 10 don't give at all. It is mind-blowing when you realize the shift in power the last 10 years. Republicans used to be the party of the rich. You know what changed? We nominated a class traitor as our nominee, Donald Trump. As soon as Donald Trump became our nominee, all the billionaires said, we don't want him anymore. He talks about things we don't like. He wants to end the wars, close the border, bring jobs back to this country. We want to keep on supporting a political party that doesn't want any of that stuff. Explain to me how Joe Biden represents the working class in this country. He doesn't.
He very much supports the unions.
It's a oh, hold on a second. The union or the union bosses? Big difference. The union bosses supporting the rank and file love Trump. The UAW loved Trump more than Biden. The carpenters union loved Trump more than Biden. The police union. The point is this, is that the Democrat Party, they are sitting on a house of cards of young activists that truly want to go like crush the rich. And there is some truth to that. Like, there's a very rich oligarchy in this country that remains rich and stays rich off of gaming government systems and public policy. And you guys give them a free pass, because you think that we're fascists, when in reality, we're the ones that are actually fighting to destroy the oligarchy the most.
Wow.
All right. Last question.
Last point. Yeah.
Last question.
Wow. And before he gets to that next question, what's up, everybody that's joining? Hello, Cottonmouth, Time Warp, Scott Norris. What's up, guys? And you guys are mentioning a lot of the other families as well, in addition to what Charlie named. Hearst, Carnegie, Madoff, Buffett. Dude, you guys, yeah, absolutely. And those of you that are in on the Instagram side in this chat, if you want to have more people to talk to, go over to my YouTube stream, and there's a lot more people in that chat, just so you know. Just a heads up.
Let's say, so you do want to fight for the American middle class, and
That's my yes.
Okay,
that's
how does freer the market like helps with the middle
again,
class?
I want precision in free markets, but
how does free market support the middle class?
Again, I'm not puritanical, but I think that generally more choices are a good thing. I think that generally supporting entrepreneurs is positive, but I think that mass immigration is really bad for American workers.
There's no mass immigration.
Well, first of all, how many people are... Wow. Well, you're right. There is mass invasion.
If there's one thing that both sides agree on is that there was mass immigration, or also known as invasion, that happened. Now, how you feel about that, it depends on what side you're on, but both sides do agree that we did have mass immigration, aka invasion.
But how many people are coming across the southern border every day?
I don't know, but like
no, I'm
not
actually genuinely curious. Can you guess?
Okay. On what time frame?
Every day.
Every day. 500?
Yeah. It's at its low point. It's at 10,000 right now. It was 15,000 last month. So what is that annualized? Let's play that out.
A lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So that's mass immigration, right?
Wow.
How many green cards do we give out every year?
Probably a lot.
Yeah, a lot. About 1.2 million.
Well,
right?
what's wrong with giving out green cards?
I'm not saying anything wrong. No, you said there's no mass migration. So I'm just trying to tell you, we do have mass migration, right? We have 3 million on the southern border, and then we have 1 million green cards, right? That's 4 million a year, right? Which is basically bigger than most U.S. states. Now, everything comes with a cost. When you have mass migration, you're going to get lower wages. But that means you're going to disenfranchise American workers. What, are you studying computer science?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, so you're an American born, I'm guessing, American raised? I don't want to assume.
I wasn't, but
okay.
I moved to the U.S.
Okay, well, you're an American now, I guess. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah,
or you're
I am.
Student visa? Okay, you're going to now have to compete. You're kind of proving my point, but that's a separate issue. You're now going to have to compete against foreign labor for your computer science jobs. I think we have a moral obligation to American-born workers to give them preference and priority and restrict the labor supply so that our computer science majors can have higher wages, not to have suppressed wages so some tech CEO can bring in a bunch of Indians and suppress their, no, nothing against Indians, but just, bring down their wages.
Personally, I just think that, like, if you came to America and then receive a green card, I think you get to work however you want. Like,
okay, I think that America...
Let me do a little refresh so we can fix this if it's glitching. So if you guys are still glitching out, let me know. I'm going to make a quick adjustment here to fix this potential glitching. Let me make this a little bit higher BPS. I'm going to go like this. And then I'm going to do one quick little thing here. Give me just a moment. Let me go like this. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go like this. All right, we should be back.
American-born citizens.
And then
should
there
be
shouldn't be a priority because they're American citizens.
Well,
as long as you're
that's where we're
American
different.
citizen.
I actually think you must have a priority to your own citizens, or else you don't have a government. You have something else. If you don't have a priority to your own people, I don't know what you have. You have a colony, not a country. You're just a
Guys, is the stream a lot better now? Just want to pause it real quick to check with you guys.
Big economy. And that's fine if that's your position. By the way, your position is held by the ruling elite, where I think that we should have a country, not just a colony, where the American-born citizens should be given preference over foreigners. Nothing against foreigners. I think they're nice people, but the Americans should be given first preference. And by the way, any sane country believes that. We're like the only country in the world that says, and certain European countries, come on in and take whatever you want. So let me ask you a question. So in the CRT literature, what do they think of white people or whiteness?
Who would you like me to quote?
Kimberly Crenshaw.
I haven't read Kimberly Crenshaw.
She says that whiteness is a cancer or a toxin on our society.
The concept of whiteness, the racial concept of whiteness.
Okay, so what is whiteness?
What is whiteness?
Yeah, define it.
As Kimberly Crenshaw would probably say, the sort of construction of privilege that comes with being white in this country.
Right. So what privilege do you and I as white people have that black people don't have?
Yeah, great question. On applications that are blindly judged, white-sounding names are often given the job more. They're paid more.
Not true. In fact, it's the opposite. There's black privilege right now. It's called affirmative action, where underqualified blacks are taking Asians and white people's places in universities across the country. True or false?
True.
Okay, so yeah, there's black privilege, not white privilege
I
in this
actually don't
country.
think affirmative action is how we address education inequality.
Okay, well, that affirmative action is still largely supported by the CRT regime. But let's get back to CRT, to the essence of it.
Sure.
CRT believes in one manifestation of its ideology is black-only dormitories. So white people are not allowed. Do you believe in black-only dormitories?
No, and I don't have to agree
Okay.
with
No,
every
you're
aspect
being
of an
fair.
ideology
Fine.
to argue for it.
So
I totally agree, Random. Anyone that I've been in this, anyone that's been in corporate or type of those kind of corporate jobs or jobs where you're doing a lot of hiring or stuff like that, you will notice the opposite of what she just said. And that's why I agree with Random. It's like, why do people just make up? They feel like if they just say something that's the opposite of what's really going on, that, it becomes a truth just because it came out of their mouth. It's not true. Actually, a lot of the companies are hiring people based on actually people that are more ethnic, black or minority or whatever the case may be, so that they can be more virtuous or have a company that's more, I guess, equal or DEI, I would say in a way.
So then what part of CRT do you like? Because they call whiteness a toxin, black-only dormitories, and if you want to talk about like ideological or intellectual sloppiness, the 1619 Project was...
I think it's very sloppy.
Okay, we agree. Nicole Hannah-Jones.
I think it's overstated, and I think some
You're
parts
being
are
fair.
inaccurate.
Okay, good.
Hey, Rizzy Doll, she's saying hello from the Instagram side, and just want to let you guys know, again, if you guys are on Instagram, this chat right here is Instagram in the white, and this is YouTube in the black. If you are on Instagram and you want to have more action, talk to more people, the YouTube chat down here is much more active than the Instagram up here, just so you know.
The parts of CRT that I think are most relevant and, very factually, you can, what am I trying to say? There's a lot of evidence for them, is the fact that previous inequalities, such as the institution of slavery, such as our treatment of Native Americans, do in fact affect those populations today. And you were saying before, in inner cities, there's a lot more crime, and a lot of that is because of redlining and other practices that come directly from the mistreatment of minorities previously in this country.
So I want to
Redlining hasn't happened for, it seems almost like a century now, but let's keep going.
sure, I understand. So black people make up 13% of the American population.
Oh, 1350, my favorite.
Yes, exactly. Why do they commit 55% of all the murders?
Super great question. It's basically a very complex intersection of race and economic status. It's pretty well known that minority people tend to be in a lower economic status because of discrimination that they face.
So then why don't poor Asians commit a lot of murders?
Also a great question. Asian people weren't originally brought to America on purpose like black people, and they weren't already present here like natives.
Wait,
I'm not finished, please.
so blacks murder because they were brought here 250 years ago?
No, I would like to finish.
Okay, just answer. It's very simple.
I am answering.
No, I know, but you're not really.
I am. Asian Americans predominantly immigrate here for work reasons. They come from already wealthy countries. They're already wealthy when they get here. Crime is committed.
Not true. Not true. As a product of immigrants that came here from where people think someone comes here with money, They do not. They come here without money and they build themselves up from the ground up.
Primarily
First
by
of all,
poor
that's not
people.
true. Talk to anybody from who's Vietnamese? Anybody? Did your family come here wealthy?
No.
Yes
not
and
wealthy,
no. Okay.
but not.
Yes
I'm not
or
saying
no?
they come
No.
here. Okay.
The average Vietnamese does not come here wealthy.
I'm not. Okay. I perhaps misspoke. Not wealthy, but a lot of the. You complain about it all the time. A lot of the immigration from countries that border us, right? It's sort of desperate people who are of a lower economic status, right? And they're coming here for a better life.
So two things. Number one, there's been more blacks that have legally immigrated to this country in the last 30 years than were ever brought as slaves. That's number one. Number two, you still haven't answered the question.
I'm trying to.
Why?
It's a complicated answer.
Black people are only 13% of the population, yet they commit 55% of the murders. Why?
Because black people tend to be in lower economic statuses because of
Okay, no, this is
CRT,
fine. This is great.
Basically,
So you think that poverty equals crime?
I think that it's highly correlated, and there's a lot of studies
This is where
on
we
that.
disagree. What an insult to the working poor of
So
this
why
country.
do you think black people commit more
Well,
crime,
first
Charlie
of all,
Kirk?
so let me ask you a question as
No,
my
answer it. Go on.
What percentage of blacks have a father around when they're raised?
I'm not sure.
20%.
So that's why you
80% of
think it
blacks
is.
do not have a stable father around. It is the most predictable way to end up in prison, end up as a murderer or a criminal.
And why
It's
do
not a
you think that's
racism
a problem?
It's not a white supremacy problem. It's a fact that black fathers impregnate women and they don't stay around with the women
And
that they have
why-
impregnated.
Charlie Kirk, do you think that happens more in the black community compared to others?
It's threefold. Number one, we subsidize single motherhood. Number two, it's culture. It's accepted in the black community, and it
so
shouldn't
it's
be.
culture. Okay.
Don't take my
I
word
see.
for it. Read Thomas Sowell's own book on how black culture allows single motherhood to continue into a nanny state type practice. 75% of black youth are raised without a father in the home. 75%. Is that a bigger problem or not a bigger problem than whiteness, white privilege, or white supremacy? How
They
can
should
you
all
blame?
be addressed, and they're all related.
Okay, how is a white person to blame for the fact that 75% of blacks?
Oh, individual white people aren't at all to blame.
Okay, we agree.
Yeah.
So, but wouldn't it be more like smarter to be like, hey, that this is not about systemic racism. Like, stop impregnating your women and abandoning them.
Well, the way to incentivize not impregnating women and abandoning them is increasing access to healthcare, into housing, into everything that we know increases
so we've
those
done
outcomes
that.
for people.
So we have spent $30 trillion.
So she wants to give more welfare. She thinks the answer is more welfare. And the reality is that it's welfare itself is what's created this problem. Getting people stuck on welfare where if they have a man in the house making money, they don't get the welfare. And so they're okay with not having a man in the house that makes money. So then they raise children without a man in the house that makes money. If they have a man in the house, that man in the house does not make money. And not having a man in the house that makes money, they raise children with, those kind of realities. It's just, it's a bad move all the way around. It sets a horrible example for not only their children, but all the people around them as well.
On the social welfare system since 1965. Black people are poorer, and the single motherhood went from 25% to now 75 to 80%. So the more money we've spent on black America, the less fathers we have, because black women divorced black men and married the government.
And do you
Damn.
think that's a problem inherent to black people?
No, it's not. It's happening now in white communities and Hispanic communities. It's just the worst in black America.
And why do you think that is?
Why is it the worst in black America? There's also a cultural problem. There is, and we have to be honest about it.
It's just that black people are
No,
sort
let me
of
ask you a question.
like that,
The
in your
average
opinion.
music that a black person in Compton is listening to, is it about contemplating the good, the true, and the beautiful, or is it about being a gangbanger and trying to get as much money and sleep with about as many girls as you can?
I would actually like to think I would be offended by that.
Do you think the average black kid in Compton is listening to Beethoven or some sort of gangster rap music that glorifies gangster culture?
Silly question. Rap wasn't created to glorify gangster culture. So even though there is
Okay,
rap,
I mean,
I'm sure
you're not
that's
answering.
doing
You're
that.
dodging the question because.
Okay, I'm sure they're listening to rap.
Okay.
So you think
there
rap
go.
music makes them
No,
leave
I'm
their
not.
mom?
Do you think the cultural expectation in black America is that you stay with the woman that you impregnate?
Within black communities, I can't speak on that.
Okay, the answer is no. It's not. It's not expected.
Okay, and do you think that is...
Hold on. In white Anglo-Saxon Protestant communities, it's a fact. Hold on. In upper middle class white communities...
Upper middle class. Say that part louder.
Yeah, upper middle class white Anglo-Saxon Protestant communities, if you impregnate a woman, you are looked down upon and we do not think highly of you if you abandon the woman that you impregnate. That's a cultural difference. Has nothing to do with money. Has nothing to do with anything except norms. And the norms that have infected Black America are destroying it from within. We need more fathers, not less. We need more dads around and less drag queen story hour. We need more young blacks to be able to look up to role models that are not leaving all the time and are not just saying, hey, I impregnated her, so be it. It's a toxin, and if we don't address that as the root cause, oh, it's white supremacy, it's injustice, it's economics, we're dancing around the core of the issue.
I guess what I'm saying is, right, and you've perfectly actually laid out the dichotomy here. It is a fact, obviously, that Black people disproportionately commit crime in this country. No one's arguing that. But you either believe that that is due to a complex intersection of social, economic, and like leftover effects from previous inequalities, or you believe that that is an inherent trait to the race.
No, I don't. Because they weren't that way in the 1940s and 50s. Black America was one of the most peaceful, flourishing, fastest growing economically communities in the country. It's not genetic. You're trying to point something on me that I don't believe. Instead,
but then
Black
you do
America,
believe that it's not genetic, so you do think CRT is correct.
Hold on a second. In the 1940s and 1950s, Black America was prosperous and was on pace to be richer and wealthier than white America. More dads were staying with the women that they were with. There was monogamy. What changed?
You're supporting my argument.
No, hold on. But answer the question. What changed? Did America get more racist since the 1950s?
I would argue there were more racist policies passed. There were more policies dedicated to lining off those communities and pushing them into poor housing and poor schools.
Wait a second. In the 1950s, Jackie Robinson had not even broken the color barrier. We had Jim Crow laws. We hadn't passed the Civil Rights Act, and we hadn't passed the Voting Rights Act. Yet blacks were better in the 1950s per capita than they are today. So we have become less racist. We've passed more anti-racist laws and given more stuff, and blacks are worse than they were 70 years ago.
Yeah.
Why?
So you're equating here institutional and social racism. Social racism was certainly worse in the 1950s, I'm sure everyone would agree, but institutional racism occurs when policies are passed against people.
Come on.
Which can increase over time, and it did.
You're not being intellectually honest. You know that. There was black-only drinking fountains in the 1950s. We don't have those anymore. Well, we're bringing them back with, black-only dormitories. But we had, for example, in the antebellum South in the 1950s, we had white-only communities, by law. We got rid of that with the Civil Rights Act. But it didn't, unfortunately, we look around, the numbers speak for themselves. Black youth are less likely to have fathers. They're not doing as well as far as economically. They commit more crime. So something changed. And our argument is what changed is three things. Number one, the imposition of the Great Society Project by Lyndon Baines Johnson of spending $30 trillion since 1960s on Section 8 housing, on welfare, on all sorts, where, as I said, that young black women married the government and they divorced young black men. And then we also have had as Thomas Sowell and as Clarence Thomas would say, the soft bigotry of low expectations. And we have been afraid to get to the root of the issue or even speak about it because we don't want to be called a racist.
So what is imposing those low expectations?
Part of it is like white academic culture. I'll give you an example. I'm not saying you believe this, but Merrick Garland, the Attorney General of the United States, has come out and said having an ID to vote is racist. That is code for saying black people are too dumb to get a voter ID.
You're doing it again. You're simplifying a very nuanced, complex argument from the real people who are making it.
Is voter ID racist?
Obviously not, Charlie.
Okay, all right.
Do you want to know where the argument comes from? I can eloquently tell you.
Eloquently tell me why voter ID is racist or whatever.
Certain policies in southern states were proposed that would, I think the quote from the person who decided the case was, with surgical precision, target the times where black people were voting and make it illegal or harder for them to get that to come at that time. And then they were targeting the type of ID that black voters had and making that specific type of ID illegal. That is racist.
Perfectly fair. How does that impact today, saying that every citizen, if you need an ID to vote, just that aside, why is it racist?
Because we have to have you know, obviously humans are making those decisions, right? And so if there is still institutional racism and people in power that are racist, we can't trust those institutions to make those decisions without
institutional
discriminating against
racism do we
people.
have in this country right now?
What you just named it.
What?
1350.
Okay, well, I mean,
affirmative action needs to happen because there is not that many minorities in these higher educations or higher education institutions.
okay, so you're being clear, which is then you lower standards.
No.
Affirmative
I don't
action
support
always
that.
does. Affirmative action lowers standards by definition.
I'm saying why affirmative action was introduced. I'm not arguing for it.
Were you asking me why it was introduced, or?
No, I'm saying you agree that's why it was introduced.
Well, I agree why it was. I don't think it ever should have been, but yes.
Right,
I mean,
but there is institutional inequality, yes?
well, I wouldn't even use the word inequality. I mean, I don't love looking at it that way, but of course, white people generally are richer than black people in this country.
Richer and more represented in politics and schools, yes?
Somewhat yes and
Why do you think
yes
that
and
is,
no.
Charlie?
Well, hold on a second. Let's ask the question here. Represented how? So I mean,
Look at Congressman.
So no, hold on a second. Are white people represented fairly in the National Basketball Association?
Who cares? What political
Hold
power
on, I
does
thought
the
we're all
national...
about fair representation.
Listen.
I think that it should, by law, half of the NBA should be white.
Great, fine.
And the product would suck.
Lobby for it.
Because
I don't
blacks
care.
are much better at basketball than we whites are.
What political power does the NBA have?
A lot, actually. The NBA reaches millions of people every day. They have slogans that people internalize. In fact, if the NBA had no political power, why would they have to wear Black Lives Matter on all their jerseys? Why would politicians try to get their endorsements all the time? The NBA is more powerful than Congress in some ways of shaping the minds.
I think it's your turn to be academically dishonest
Hold on
now,
a second.
but sure.
No. But if you want fair representation, just to be clear, then why would you not be against whites, by law, being half of the National Basketball Association? Right now, black people make up 88% of the NBA.
Do it, great. Who cares?
No,
I don't care. I'm saying,
Okay.
right, so here's my point.
All right,
if
fine.
We have
I have a shot, everybody.
Please listen.
I could play for the Lakers.
I hope... Do it, Charlie. I'll come to your games. I'll do it.
The point is this, is that merit should triumph over all of it.
Which is awesome. Okay, so merit should triumph. We agree.
Okay.
Okay, Charlie, do you think black people are not as smart or competent
Absolutely
as white
not.
people?
No.
Perfect. So they should, in theory, then be equally represented in positions of
but
power.
No, hold on. So have you ever read Discrimination and Disparities by Thomas Sowell?
Do you only read Thomas Sowell? You've quoted him like 3 times. I haven't read that.
No, I read a lot more than Thomas Sowell, but I'm happy to. Thomas Sowell's the only intellectual with the courage to go after like these core issues of why Black America has fallen behind and why no one actually has studied it. So let's just give a great example. When you don't have a father in the home, the amount of words that a child hears goes down by 60 to 70%. The amount of words that a child, I don't know if you're a mother or not, or plan to be. Okay, no, just it's an important point. The amount of words that an 18-month-year-old hears is highly predictive of IQ, verbal development. Okay, so that's simple. When you don't have a dad in the home, the mom is overwhelmed, and there's just less interaction with the child.
That's all fine.
Okay, so we agree. I'm just saying that's not because of racism.
That's true.
No,
Obviously,
that's
I'm not
fine.
saying that's good.
No, she. I know what you meant. But you have a father in the home. All of a sudden, they hear thousands of more words a day, and they're like way further ahead of a single mother raising a child. That's not racism.
Okay, so dads are good. Yes, great.
Okay.
My question to
I'm saying
you
dads
is,
actually answer most of the questions that you might have about why Black America is falling behind.
Okay, but
because their dads don't stay around, and that's bad.
I'm trying to sort of get to you to reconcile your own beliefs. And if that's true, which is fine, that's true. We can say that's true. You either believe that has social and economic causes, or you believe that, Black culture's just worse.
No,
and there
I
isn't
think
another thing to think.
No, I was very clear. Right now, Black culture is being held captive by influences, songs, and role models. I mean, Nicki Minaj, Cardi B.
Okay, Nicki Minaj is causing dads to leave the home.
Hold on a second. I don't think that's a good role model for 18-year-old Black girls. I don't. I don't think that songs that are talking about like glorifying wet female genitalia is exactly. I don't know which one wrote that song. Which one was it?
I think it was Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but by the way, the role models of the 1940s and 50s for Black America were completely different.
So it is a representation issue.
Hold on a second. No, not representation. It's who do you get your art from? It's what values are they putting forward? It's the question of Every day, for example, more times than not, black politicians will lament the condition of America. It's systemically racist. It's terrible. What does that do to a 14-year-old black kid if you just find that you hear that everything is rigged against you? Instead, they should be saying, hey, there might be some barriers, but if you believe in yourself enough, you can achieve in this country. It creates a form of social conditioning of low expectations, and that's not my argument. You know whose argument that is? Barack Obama's.
I don't necessarily agree with everything he said either, man.
Barack Obama said, number one, we need more fathers in the home. This is when Barack Obama didn't go super woke.
Barack Obama's a liberal. I don't care what he's got to say.
Okay, but Barack Obama then secondly, he said that we can't keep telling our black youth that you can't succeed in this country. Anybody can succeed in this country. And Obama was right when he said that. Obama was correct when he said that we need to change the story we're telling black America.
Which is fine. I've never heard any teacher look at a black person and say, oh, you can't succeed because of racism.
Hold on a second. But what is the embedded message of all the propaganda saying it's systemically racist, you're going to run into racist employers, that they're going to discriminate against you? It creates this heaviness of why even try?
By the time college students get to college, they've experienced all that. They don't need to be told.
You think that the average, I'm curious, you think that the average black student at this university experiences like active daily racism? I'd be curious.
I'd have to ask. You can ask them to raise their hands.
I don't know. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's as bad as it was in the antebellum South. So.
I'm not saying that, obviously.
Okay.
I did say social racism improved. I'm saying institutional racism is still present, and that's what's causing lower outcomes for minority communities.
Do you think the reason why only 20 to 25%, it depends, we don't know the number, it's just a range per year.
Sure.
So 1 in 4 of black youth have a stable father around. What would you just say is the big, why is that the reason?
A complex intersection of social and economic reasons, which are outlined in CRT.
Okay. Thank you for the dialogue. Thank you.
Okay.
How do you feel about like the current state of the economy and this whole theory of like immaculate disinflation, if you're familiar with the term?
Say that again.
Immaculate disinflation?
Well, we're not living through that.
Okay,
but
yeah.
Yes.
And where's your proof that we aren't exactly?
Are you talking disinflation?
Yes.
That we actually we're not seeing a surge in prices?
No, disinflation means the inflation rate is decreasing over time.
Well, so there is some evidence to show that, for example, televisions, iPhones.
Specific products. That's not an illustration of all inflation, though.
No, I was going to agree with you that.
Okay.
But if you just go to a grocery store, eggs are far more expensive than they were 2 years ago. You don't have to overthink it. I mean, the college degree here at this university, what is it per year, guys?
30,000.
How much?
They've
been 10 in state, 30,000 out of state. Yeah, 10 years ago, I bet it was 18,000 out of state, right? So
yes, but they've been trying to raise the Cal State tuition for quite some time, even before inflation spiked to its current levels or previous levels about a year ago. They've just been delaying it for quite some time. So
yeah,
it's not exactly.
We're living through a decades-long inflation surge, and the best evidence you could see it either in the artificial boosting of profit-earning ratios. Go ahead.
Even during like Trump's administration, inflation was actually quite low, so that's not
No, it was low then, but
true.
It's not low right now.
Yes, but why was it low then, would you say?
Well, because we had economic growth, and we weren't borrowing $2 to $3 trillion a year.
We actually were. We were borrowing quite a bit of money.
We were borrowing about $1 trillion a year.
Still quite a bit.
So we're borrowing about triple that right now.
Yes.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
got it.
I mean, I think that's how the math works
so
out.
Triple in the law of big numbers is a big deal. So borrowing $800 billion, not excusable. Borrowing $2.5 trillion, morally reprehensible.
Morally? Why exactly morally is there a distinction between 1 and 3 trillion? Very arbitrary.
Because everyone here is going to have to pay off that debt, and that dollar that you think is going to have value is decreasing by the day. Whether you're pro-choice or Democrat.
But inflation is something that's going to occur no matter what.
Can I finish? Okay.
I apologize.
It's okay. Inflation is not a guaranteed human norm. That's not true, but I'll get to that in a second. Every single person here, it will be harder than ever for you to own a home. So inflation is immoral because you're going to enter into a housing market where everything costs 3 times as much in the housing market than it did a decade ago. You will not be able to afford a down payment, let alone even be able to build the capital necessary for other goods and services that you might want to build wealth. And you know who does benefit is your parents' generation and baby boomers, no offense, that do own their assets and you won't. And so, secondly, inflation is a choice. It's not built into the human experience.
The human experience, sure, but the economic system, especially a capitalist economic system, it definitely is. How would you try to achieve 0% inflation?
0% inflation?
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't want 0% inflation.
So then it is built in.
Well, inflation...
And it is a necessary evil.
No, I said I wouldn't want it. Okay. Moderate inflation is good for money velocity and for growth.
Yes.
But you need to manage that versus the growth rate, right? So this goes back to Milton Friedman's idea of the Chicago monetarism. You can laugh all you want.
Friedman? Yeah, all right.
Okay. What's so funny about Milton Friedman? The fact he's the greatest economist of the 20th century? Or
qualify. That's I don't know. I wouldn't say he's exactly that.
So you're more like a John Maynard Keynes guy? So yeah.
Not necessarily, no. I just take a more broad approach than specifically Milton
we don't
Friedman.
need to have a central bank. We do have a central bank.
Okay, bold claim. I'll follow you though.
You don't need to have a central bank.
I used to be very against the Federal Reserve as well.
Okay, I'm just saying you don't need to have one, but we choose to have one. The central bank has been overly politicized to try to stop, let's just say, natural economic cycles from occurring. Both administrations, Bush, Obama, Trump, Biden, have leaned on the central bank to use cheap money as a way to try to keep the good times flowing and the good times going.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's definitely for sure.
So we don't agree. Well, we don't disagree.
Yeah, but here's the other thing I would say.
We can't hear you. I gotta say, your protesters are kind of weak here, guys. I expected more out of them, right?
They didn't seem to have the energy to get
I know. I thought they'd have more, Yeah, I like it. Please keep going, yeah.
I will say, though, going back to the mortgage rates, as you were saying, I would say that probably has a lot more to do with private equity buying up homes than the inflation rate.
Well, hold on. There's two parts to that. I'm not talking just about mortgage. Interest rates are up. I'm talking about just the asset price itself.
That too. I would say it's a lot more related to private equity buying up homes.
But why is private equity doing that? Because they have so much cheap money that we've put into the system, they don't know what to do with it. Now, I think we could agree, actually, there should be laws against BlackRock coming in and buying single-family homes and renting them back. You should not be a society of renters. It's bad for society.
Yes.
So we can agree on that. I say that as a conservative. It's bad for the human experience and for generational flourishing. But when you open up the guzzle of cheap money, which we have done, especially post-COVID, there's a price to that. And the price is that your currency gets weaker. And we're seeing that right now.
Yes. So would you say that it was actually necessary in order to get out of the huge recession we experienced during the pandemic
No, I think we should have just opened up the economy. We never should have locked down the country. So we never should have borrowed the $6 trillion. We never should have done the stimulus stuff. It hurt every single one of you. It increased suicide rates, depression, anxiety, fiscal problems, economic problems, political problems.
I could definitely agree with that to some extent. But would you say even in, say, 2009, lowering the interest rates to zero in that sense, was that
Well, we didn't go to zero. We didn't. We went down, believe it or not. We went to 5%. COVID, we went to near zero.
Yes.
But no, I have a contrarian view on 2008. I think we should have let the banks fail. And I think we should have. I think we actually should have allowed the market to solve it, not to have socialism for the rich and brutal capitalism for the working class.
I totally agree with that.
Okay, so
totally agree with
I think that Wells Fargo, Goldman, I think that Lehman and the big banks that failed should have had to actually climb themselves out, or you destroyed a moral hazard is what you did, and zero executives went to prison. I agree with Elizabeth Warren on this. None of these robber barons that did what they did in 08 served federal prison time. Meanwhile, and I will use a political statement to contrast it, grandmas that went into the Capitol on January 6th and took selfie videos are in federal prison. You ask me who's a bigger threat to democracy? Wall Street executives that bankrupted our economy in 2008 are a bigger threat to our country than people that walked into the Capitol building and took a selfie.
Now, let me ask you this. I don't know if my memory served me correctly, but who was... did Steve Mnuchin serve under the Trump administration?
Yeah, he was from Government Sachs.
Did he serve under the Trump administration?
That's right, yeah.
So why would Trump invite someone like that who should probably be in federal prison into his administration?
I have a lot of personnel disagreements. I love Trump, but I think...
You love Trump?
Love Trump.
Why would you love... Why would... So...
Here we go.
Trump, everybody?
Here we go.
So...
Here we go. You guys know Trump.
The Great White Hope. The Great White Hope.
To ask...
That's amazing.
Ask a broader question.
Yes.
Why would you love any politician? They have a job to do. Why be emotionally attached in that sense?
And I don't say this lightly. I do have a friendship with them. I've gotten to know him over a couple of years. So, and
disclosing bias.
100% biased. And so I also think whether you hate him or love him, he's a once in 100 year.
But why would you hate him or love him? He just has a job to do.
Well, I also love what he did as country. As president for the country. So
would you say though that you're probably more of a fiscal conservative?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, and his borrowing was one of the two. So 3 things, if you want to just be full disclosure, that I think President Trump could have done better, and I think he will do better.
This is what I love about the right, and this is what I love about Charlie Kirk, is he will tell you where he does not agree with the people that he loves or the people that he follows or the people that he supports. People on the right are openly able to talk about ways they disagree with people in their own party.
Fiscal deficit spending, okay?
Why do you think he will do better?
Let me get to all three, okay?
Okay.
What's
COVID
up, James?
And certain
What's up, Mark? What's up, everybody? I'm just deep into this. I'm watching. I'm paying attention. But I'm seeing I'm watching the chat down here the whole time. So
personnel choices, okay?
Okay.
Those are the three things, and I could list 100 accomplishments. Those are three things I think that the first administration, that wasn't their best.
Yeah.
Why it could have been better? I think that he's got the world against him, and if he becomes president again, which the 50-50 shot he will. He's going to set the world on fire.
I would say he's a little bit too...
What's up, Elmo? What's up, Bart? What's up, Johnny? What's up, everybody? Good to have you guys.
Egotistic.
Elmo, as usual, coming through with those beautiful ways he twists the words. What was it? Beetle? That's because he was a... Beta. Come on now. Come on, Beetle.
Beta male. Man, be a alpha male, not a beta male.
Physical and emotional to really counter the world being against him. He seems to react a little too emotionally to these kinds of things.
I don't want to get too deep into it, but you're not gonna convince me on negative Trump stuff. So
okay, interesting. So your mind isn't necessarily that open. Doesn't this change my mind?
You could try.
Okay.
I mean, you're not gonna.
But didn't you just say kind of up front that you're not really gonna
I'm
change
open-minded to
your
hear.
opinion?
I'm just saying you're not going to change my mind on that Trump stuff.
Okay. So then, what is it that's leading you to think that Trump is going to have better decision making in this next term, specifically when it comes to borrowing? Because he is going to
necessity. I mean, I don't know, and honestly, there's little evidence except the fact that we're going to have a debt crisis, the likes of which the country's never seen. And he's going to have to address it. We need to have severe cuts in the federal budget.
So would you say that the downgrading of America's credit rating is more related to our national debt or the inability to handle it in a mature way?
More both, but more just the debt itself is.
Okay.
I mean, we now owe more than we're worth as a country. So I want to get to other questions because you had some time. But final question. I want to be respectful. But
so I guess. If you think that that's an issue that we have more debt than say our current income?
Well, we do.
Well, yeah, but if you would
just
say
the value of the country.
Of course, we control our own currency, and our currency is
are you a modern
number one
monetary
reserve
theory guy? So
okay,
so.
It's the number one reserve, so that gives us a lot of wiggle room.
It's decreasing. It used to be 75% of the world's reserve currency status 20 years ago. Now it's 55%.
I would say
do you know about BRICS? You know BRICS, right? BRICS,
yeah, I do.
BRICS is creating an alternative.
I think they're a
dollar.
paper tiger.
Okay, I actually hope you're right.
I don't believe that India, China, South Africa, and Russia could ever work together to create their own unified currency.
I just hope we're not too prideful.
Definitely a paper tiger.
I've seen you talk a lot about objective.
Guys, I'm reading the chat. Random and Min, if you guys are open to being mods, let me know and we'll go over it. I'm down.
Morality. And my big question is, it feels like you can make good statements and bad statements without referencing some kind of.
And guys, we're at 4978. Thank you all for subscribing. We're almost at 5K. We're going to hit 5K on this stream together, guys. Thank you so much for supporting me. Thank you.
Like moral book. So I can say something is good, right? I had a good day today. And it doesn't really feel like I need to reference religion for that.
Random says, I can't be trusted. I will boot so many people. I know, man. It's one of those, being a mod is tough because some mods want to boot everybody. Some mods are just kind of more chill. But yeah, let me know, man. Anybody that wants to be a mod, feel free to hit me up because we're getting to that point where we will need more mods.
So can you explain to me why you think we need to have some kind of absolute standard for morality?
Excellent question. It's really good. If you say you have a good day, are you describing the experience you had, or was it morally a good day?
So yeah, it would be a good day. So I can narrow it down more, I guess. Or I can ask, I guess, a better question. So if I don't have religion, right? Let's say I am an atheist or something, and I were to go up to, I find two books. One's the Quran, and then one is the Bible. And I read both of them, and then I have a feeling of preference towards one or the other. That makes me feel like morality probably isn't objective because I read 2 moral codes. I didn't have one before, and then I derived one after reading it.
But one is true.
Well, yeah, obviously if you go in with the presupposition that one is true. But
so
like,
let's play this out. Not sorry to interrupt. If I'm on an island, and let's just demystify part of this, and there's the Bible, and then there's Lord of the Rings, and I end up believing in one of those, which is true?
Well, what's true is just what corresponds with reality. We're talking about...
I agree. So which one has evidence, and when applied in the natural world actually shows a flourishing people and society and a way to live? Because you would agree, at least out of 8 out of 10 of the 10 commandments, they're pretty good rules for life,
no,
right?
Yeah, 100%.
Of course, yes.
No, but
so
the thing that I'm talking about doesn't have to do with whether or not Christianity is good or bad, or whether I agree with most of... Yeah, it's just regarding like, yeah, one can be true, but even if one is true, it doesn't really feel like I'm influenced in terms of what I feel is good or bad, because obviously...
Yeah, I think it is the same, dude. You guys are exactly right. I think you guys are talking about who I just booted on Instagram, right? Yeah, I just booted him. I reported him and I booted him. The chicken has arisen, new subscriber. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Thank you for supporting me. Love you guys. Thank you so much.
You know, there are people who are Muslim who have read, you know, the Bible and still are more persuaded by Islam.
No, of course. I mean, you could be persuaded by anything, right? That doesn't... I believe that there is a transcendent way of living. I call that the Bible, right? And I believe it's the perfect catalog from creation to the end of the world. You don't have to agree with that. I'm talking strictly from a moral sense. So let's just ask a separate question, which is, do you think people are naturally, outside of, you know, religious teaching, good or not so good? The nature of humanity.
The nature... I wouldn't be comfortable making a statement about it.
Fair enough, and I appreciate that. So we believe, as Christians or those in the space, human beings are pretty awful, okay? That we're broken, that we're sinful, that we fall short of the glory of God, and that we need to teach people how to be good. A common left-wing belief is that human beings are actually awesome, and they're terrific, and the reason why things are not so good is because of capitalism or the patriarchy or feminism or whatever. So you're asking a question of, you know, why do we need objective morality? Well, or what specifically?
Dude just created a new account on Instagram, instantly came and started doing the same thing. I just blocked him a second time.
Yeah, so...
thank you, G Wiz. Welcome, man. Appreciate you. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you, guys. We're about to hit 5K.
So not necessarily why we need objective morality, but you seem to be, because obviously I don't believe that it's a thing, but you seem to make the claim that...
Do you believe that absolutely?
No.
Okay, good.
But
you're consistent.
Yeah. The big thing is for me, even if I have a God, there is no thing telling me, like, you know, it's just like the is-ought problem, right? That's like my big contention, right? How am I ever going to derive a claim about what I should do from only statements about the nature of being?
Got it. So you would believe murder's wrong?
Yeah.
Why do you believe that?
Because in its definition, it says it's wrong, right? It's wrong killing of somebody, or at least that's my understanding of it.
Okay, so... I mean, so for example, you go to an African village, happens all the time. They leave a full-born baby by the fire. They don't want it. They discard it. Happens tons of times. Any missionary will tell you that. They just discard babies. Why? They don't believe it's wrong. It's just in their code and custom. No one feels bad about it. Just discard kids you don't want. Are they wrong?
For me, yeah, they're wrong. Yeah. It's a bullet I do have to bite for my worldview.
Hold on. Are they objectively wrong? Is it objective?
No. Because I don't believe in objective morality. So that can apply to any statement.
It's not objectively wrong to leave a full-born baby by the fire and just say, you're on your own, have a nice life.
Well, yeah, I'm calling into question objective morality, so I obviously have to bite
I know.
that
I'm
bullet.
just trying to make you hear back how insane what you are saying.
Well, you're making a claim about the objectivity of it.
No,
you're
I know.
not making a claim about whether it's wrong. Obviously, I think it's wrong.
Let's get more graphic. So you put 1,000 Jews in a gas chamber, and the Nazis thought what they were doing was good, and they pressed the button. Were they right or were they wrong in gassing millions of Jews?
Objectively, you can't, like, when you say, is it objectively wrong? Hold on, wait. If you say it's...
Bro, massive jump. We're literally 6 away from 5K, guys. Holy cow. Somebody in the stream, I'm in the chat. I'm reading chat right now. Someone in the chat says, I'm just curious. I'll go first. I'm right-leaning. What is the leanings of this streamer and the following? I am right-leaning. I was recently on the left. I am more right-leaning. I think because I was in one place and the left just went like way far left, and now I'm standing somewhere leaning towards the right. And then as a result of that, I started leaning a little bit more to the right. I'm not far right by any means. I'm just leaning right. I'm closer to the center, but I lean right.
It's objectively wrong. You're implying that you can derive a truth value from it.
Damn, dude, we hit 5K. Yeah, baby. Dude, look at that. Hell yeah, dude. Thank you guys. Good look. Thank you guys. Yes. Yes, baby. Let's do this. Dude, 5K. State line. Look at that, bro. We hit it, bro. We thought it was going to take till this weekend. And boom, baby. Boom. Hell yeah. Thank you guys.
That's amazing. That's amazing. What the?
Damn, bro.
What the?
Oh,
that's amazing.
Here we go. Here we go. Oh, damn, dude. Cigars. Yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Now I got to figure out what we're gonna do, because there was a couple things on the list that we got to do. There was a tour, a Porsche tour, this tour, that tour. So let me know what we got to do, guys. Dude, we made it. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, G. Thank you, everybody. You guys all helped out, man. Love you guys. Thank you for supporting me. Dude, look at that. 5K, bro, on the board. Yes. That was an insane jump, and we did it in this one stream together. Damn, we're at 60K views, 61,000 views. Dude, we're moving. Dude, thank you guys. Wayland, thank you. Kingdom, thank you. Subliminal. Thanks, Elmo. You the man. Thank you, guys.
I don't think that you can make a true statement regarding whether something's good or bad.
Got it. So just to be clear, the Nazis could have been right.
Johnny asking to be a mod. Stick around a little longer, man. Love to get to know you a little better, and reach out to me. We'll talk.
Their actions, in your view.
Thank you, Bart. Candy, thank you for joining. Love to have you. Thank you. Chicken, thank you. Chicken says you're probably a Reagan Democrat.
That implies that
I don't know. I gotta look into that.
Right is an actual thing. I don't believe you can determine a truth value from a moral claim.
So the Nazis were not objectively evil.
Yeah, I've said that like 4 times.
Thank you, James.
You can't derive objective moral statements from like things. I'm not saying they're not wrong. Like they are wrong. Oh.
Well, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
No, I just want to make sure this is important, because what you are saying, and you're saying it very clearly, is that we look at the Holocaust and it's just a matter of opinion.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem of being an atheist. You have to bite the bullet.
I respect your intellectual clarity, and I will say...
And obviously, for clarity,
no.
I obviously think the Holocaust is wrong. So if anyone's questioning about
that... No, but it's just your opinion. I believe that it's objectively wrong, no matter who you are or where you come from, because it transcends opinion. Do you think, last question, I appreciate your clarity on this, do you see how your view could result in a lot of dead people?
Well, I don't think my view is really I'm not making a claim that we should behave in a way.
No, you're making claims.
Well, I am making claims, yeah, but I'm not making a claim that like we should behave in a certain way, or like that we ought to not have Christianity or some kind of moral
I'm not saying
code.
that, but let me play this out, and I think you'll understand.
No, I understand, because you're going to say, well, there's all these bad things that could happen if people follow me.
Or that did happen. No, I'm not following you. If your view becomes a view of a country, and, for example, putting 1,000 Jews in a gas chamber is not deemed as objectively wrong, transcendent above anyone's opinion, then all of a sudden, what would prevent that evil thing from occurring and nobody questioning it?
Sure. So my main idea, I guess, with the worldview is I'm not making a claim again about how things should be. I'm making a claim that this is how things are. So within my worldview, this is all fine. You can have people agreeing that things are wrong. Generally, I think most people's moral intuitions will lead them to thinking that things like murder is wrong and stealing is wrong, because it makes you feel bad, right?
No, well,
if I see somebody get hurt, that makes me feel bad. If you see somebody die, that makes you feel bad.
Yeah, the SS guards didn't feel bad when they killed Jews, and that's okay. But do you see where this might unravel into mass murder and societal chaos?
Yeah, that happens in the real world. I'm making a description about the way people derive their morals. I'm not saying how we should or shouldn't. I'm saying this is how you derive your morals. If you have 2 books there, the trueness or correspondence with reality has anything to do with your preference towards, one moral system or another.
Hold on. Or maybe the true one says, don't gas the Jews.
That would be,
murder.
That would be obviously,
because God will judge you harshly.
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe just hear me out. Maybe the true one says that life is good and that there is a creator who loves you.
But now what you're doing is you're just making claims about what you think. Like, Yeah, obviously it would be awesome if I had a moral code that everyone had to follow that agreed with
I know,
things
if
that
only
I
a
said.
book existed.
Yeah, I know, if only. But my entire
If only
point
there
is
was
that
this
all the things
amazing
that-
book.
Yeah, but my point is that
No,
all the
you're
things that-
being super clear. I appreciate it.
Okay, yeah.
No, and you're the first person ever, to your credit, to answer the atheist Nazi question clearly, which is that an atheist cannot objectively say that the Holocaust was wrong.
I'm arguing against objective, like the idea that...
No, you're being...
Yeah.
Usually there's some withering there. You went right into there.
Well,
so.
yeah, I can't go in here and, like, not bite the bullets of, like, what my argument implies, like...
We have clarity but not agreement. Thank you, my friend.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Do you view democracy as an American value, something that's very important to the fabric of this country?
No. Where is democracy in the U.S. Constitution?
Oh, okay. So are you...
No, hold on. Where is the word democracy?
I don't think the word democracy is
it's
in
not.
the
So
Constitution.
where is the
but-
word democracy in any of the founding
Well,
fathers?
A lot of the
They're-
founding fathers had extremely elitist viewpoints around who should...
Hold on. I just want you said the word democracy, so I want to get back to our roots.
Yes.
Where is democracy mentioned?
I don't...
In the Federalist Papers, the Constitution, or the Declaration?
I think it's good that this country has moved away from
Got
things
it.
that were
So it
explicitly
is
believed by the
mentioned
founding
in the Federalist
fathers.
Papers, and it's mentioned negatively as a problem. So you ask me, is democracy a fundamental American value? I say no.
Okay.
Because I go back to our roots. And Hamilton, Madison, and Jay.
Oh, I know that
spoke-
Hamilton was anti-democracy.
No,
Like,
well, hold on,
these
let me
people
finish.
thought that people should be
But
owned as
I want to be
property.
clear.
Yeah.
I am pro-representative government.
Okay.
But I'm not pro-democracy. That's a big difference, and that distinction's important. But you asked very specifically about democracy, which is
Okay.
not an American value. It never has been and never should be. Because what is democracy? Democracy is majority rule no matter what. That there's no provisions of checks and balances, no inalienable rights, no separation of powers, pure if the majority gets it, the majority wants it as quickly as possible.
I don't advocate pure democracy. I do understand that we live in a
Cool.
representative, like we live
Got
in a
it. So
republic, and I
believe in
understand these things.
representative
Yeah.
government.
Okay.
And you might say I'm splitting
Well, I
hairs
would-
on words, but
Yeah.
I'm not.
Well, just coming from a place where, on some level, we have a level of democracy in this country, and people vote, and it is part of their civic duty to vote.
Representative, sure.
Yes. Do you not think it is in the greater interest of this country at large that its citizens are as educated as possible to therefore be able to participate in that
I
system?
think they should be as wise as possible, and I don't think that education and wisdom are the same thing.
Yeah, I
In fact,
understand.
I think college disincentivizes the cultivation of wisdom.
In the age where there is such a hypersaturation of, and we've seen this, like extremely polarizing, different, like people are getting their news from wildly different sources.
Yes.
People just don't interact with the other side at all. Do you think that being an autodidact in any sense of the term is going to give you a thorough and rigorous education if you are like so likely to end up sucked into these holes where you're never
Well,
interacting
that's not my
with
only
people who
form
have...
of learning. I meet a lot of cool people. I learn from people like you and others. I mean, I'm listening when you're talking. It's not just a shtick. You haven't won me over on any of it, but you had an opportunity to. But I'm glad you attempted to. But yeah, I mean, you learn in other ways other than just sitting in a classroom listening to a professor drone on for 90 minutes and pretending to read his book and paying $20,000 a semester to cheat on the exam at the end of the semester.
I think college is what you make of it. I think
I agree. So is life.
People are selling themselves short on
No,
their
I
education
agree.
if they
you,
don't
you can listen to
get
as many
anything out of their
podcasts as you
classes.
want. You can meet interesting people. And
Academia does have like an actual level of like you have to prove that you're worth your salt, at least to have peer-reviewed papers published,
No, I mean, yeah,
which
if
you
you get
don't
a
have to do to start a podcast.
If you get a PhD, yes, but hold on. So is your contention that I'm not informed or not worldly or not wise? I want to be clear.
I'm not making any claims about your specific level of being informed. I'm
Okay.
saying the general rhetoric on the right against education, against higher education
Well, hold on.
specifically.
Why do you think it is? Is it because you think we hate smart people, or is it that there's something happening here that we really think is troubling?
I think it's much easier to control people who are less educated.
See, now you're a conspiracy theorist. So, no, it's...
Anti-intellectualism is a hallmark of fascism.
Do you think we're against higher education because it largely has created an ungrateful, unprepared generation that goes into the American body politic and does not share the core American values of freedom of speech, gratitude for our founding, consent of the governed? In fact, it's hyper-radical. And it's against our traditions, our norms, and our customs, and it's created massive fissures. We call that the woke mind virus, if you will.
Okay, that makes...
It's not because people are easier to control. In fact, we love learning. I learn every day. In fact, that's why I'm pro Hillsdale College, where it's probably one of the hardest colleges in the country to get into and graduate from. The problem is that when you are learning largely trash and crap, and you're not going in the pursuit of truth, beauty, or goodness, and you're not trying to inculcate wisdom or good character,
There is... There's no oversight on online political punditry to make sure that you're in pursuit of wisdom and goodness.
No,
like
of course
you
there's not.
directly profit from propagating viewpoints that are more polarizing and that suck people deeper into more conspiratorial thinking.
Hold on. So what you're doing is you're actually insulting the audience, not me. Because the vast majority of this audience actually enjoys watching my videos, and they enjoy hearing from me.
I never said your audience didn't enjoy watching your videos.
Because you say I'm profiting. The way
you do profit, like you financially, you make a ton of money from getting more clicks.
The audience rewards me because they find that I bring some value.
Well, I don't
and that they
necessarily
learn something
think
from
that
me.
whatever gets the most eyes
question.
on a specific.
But it's easy to attack me as exploitation. What I say is actually very popular and resonates with people. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Thank you.
She's talking shit because he's an autodidact. He's self-taught. He didn't go graduate college, and she's saying that she thinks he prefers people not to go to college so that we could have people that we can control more. And it's actually in my opinion, and I think in a lot of people's opinion, that the people that go to college become indoctrinated and are more likely or more easily controlled. And that goes to what I have on the screen. Never confuse education with intelligence. You can have a PhD and still be an idiot. Let's keep going. Oh, and someone asked me if I collect miniatures. What type of miniatures? I don't collect any type of miniatures that I'm aware of, but I like collecting watches. And I'm trying to collect cars, but it's an expensive hobby.
Thank you.
No, I've seen the social side. So.
Yeah, but I don't like your ideology. I don't know about you. You seem like a nice enough person.
Yeah.
Your ideas are practically evil, but that's okay.
No, same for you.
Okay, tell me why.
What?
Tell me why.
Capitalism is a vampire. I don't know.
Is it what?
I said capitalism is a dead vampire that feasts on the blood of the working class.
Capitalism is a deadly vampire that feasts on the blood of the working class.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that for me?
I don't really want to right now, but because
do you have an iPhone?
Yeah.
So you're feasting on the blood of the working class. How dare you?
Yeah.
Weeble Wobbers, Beta Bar Miniature just. Oh, dude.
I know.
How do you feel about that?
We all have to do the best that we can.
No, you don't. Why don't you go live on a farm and not use the fruits of the working class and just be a socialist with your friends? Why use the fruits of the free market? Isn't that kind of hypocritical?
No, because the free market is so pervasive, we have no choice but to be.
No, like I said, you could go live on a farm by yourself like the Amish do, or like socialists in Vermont do, but yet you choose to live in a free market society and benefit from it and use the heat and the light and the well-being and the medicine and the food all as a byproduct of a market-based society.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I love it. But...
Oh, you love it, but you said it's a vampire sucking the blood of the working class, so isn't that a little contradictory?
What?
What's your dad's opinion?
My dad's opinion?
Yeah, how old are you?
I'm 18.
Is your dad the same persuasion as you?
No, he's a Republican.
Slightly, that's okay.
He's
Republican.
Yeah, he's a Republican.
But no one's preventing. See, here's the thing: no one's preventing you from living like a socialist. You can go do that, but your worldview would prevent me from living like an entrepreneur.
Thank you, Marlon.
Like a capitalist. So inherently, your ideology is built on control of other people's choices. Ours is built on freedom. If you want to go live like a socialist, I have no problem with that. You can go start your own socialist colony in rural Utah, buy your own land and share your own water and share your own food. That's what's so amazing about voluntary societies. Whereas what you talk about is a coercive society. I don't have that freedom to live how I want to live under the worldview that you espouse. And I think that's immoral.
You're forcing them.
And again, I don't believe in revolutionary socialism.
I didn't accuse you of that. You said Democrat socialism.
Yeah. That's just the club I'm with. Really, I'm fairly Marxist, honestly.
Okay, let's talk.
That's just the club that I'm in. But I believe that eventually we will get to a state where enough people, we will collectively come together and say, hey, this is better, for all of us. I don't, obviously, with the world we live in today, socialism can't exist, like today in America. I'm very pragmatic, at my core.
Okay.
I recognize that's never going to happen.
You said the Marxist thing. Can you give me an example where Marxism has ever worked?
No, but that's because we are...
But it's been tried over 100 times in the last 100 years, and it's never worked. it's 0 for 100. And isn't that kind of concerning to you?
Well, so the thing is, in a Marxist state, you know, it's a stateless, classless, money society.
Right, and so that's just utopia, man. I mean, that's no different than a fiction novel about Neverland. It's been tried, and the results are hundreds of millions of people dead.
But that's ultimately what the true concept of utopia is.
Right. So here's the question: do you think utopia is attainable?
I think it is, not in our lifetime.
Okay.
Have you read the Communist Manifesto?
Yeah, and so I guess the struggle I have here is you espouse a viewpoint that has never worked, you think's never going to work in our lifetime, and never work in this country. That's no different than me believing in something of a work of fiction.
But that doesn't mean that you can't work towards it.
So how would we go about working towards it? That's where the revolutionary component comes in, isn't it? So maybe you are a little more revolutionary than you admit it.
I don't think I am. I think that, like, when you look over time and you see, you know, how societies have changed and how they've progressed and everything, I think that.
Okay, that's the end of that video there, and I want to see what our Mr. John Kennedy has to say here. This is live. It's just happening now. I want to go to the beginning of his conversation because this is on the Senate floor, guys. He's about to go live right now, John Kennedy. And you know him. He's entertaining to watch.
My colleagues from my office, Mr. Will Petrie.
Here we go.
The senator from Louisiana.
Mr. President. Mr. President, with me today is one of my colleagues from my office, Mr. Will Petrie, who has helped me immensely on this issue. I want to talk just for a few minutes, Mr. President, about digital assets. Some people refer to them as crypto or cryptocurrency. The Senate Banking Committee is in the process, as we should be, of considering market structure legislation for digital assets, for Bitcoin, for crypto. And it's important because there's an enormous amount of confusion out there. I remember when blockchain technology started, many of us do. Today, 1 in 5 Americans own cryptocurrency.
And right now we're waiting for Trump and Kash Patel. They're about to hold a briefing, so I'm looking for that live. It hasn't started yet. As soon as that starts, I'm going to bring that in because I want to hear what they have to say today.
Its growth has been nothing short of breathtaking. But as oftentimes happens when you have an innovation, it creates enormous confusion on the way that the subject of that innovation integrates with the federal government. And that's the case.
Random, are you talking to me? You're saying to click his name up top. Who are you? Is it to me or someone else?
Here. Those who are in the cryptocurrency business and in the blockchain technology business don't know who to talk to in the federal government.
Oh, gotcha. Thanks, man.
The Securities and Exchange Commission has announced under President Biden that it has jurisdiction over digital assets, and so did the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, the CFTC. And there's been a lot of litigation, and there have been a lot of court cases, and it's been enormously confusing. And those in the crypto business understandably have the reaction, look, we don't mind being regulated. We have nothing to hide, but we'd like to know who to talk to. Is it the CFTC? Is it the SEC? What do we do? And that's why we need legislation. That's why we need market structure legislation, not because because government.
Okay, so this should be starting here any second. Now I'm trying to see, once they start, I'm going to bring that video in because, yeah, as you guys, I don't know if you guys are aware, but they are making threats. They are threatening ICE to the point where there's actually bounties on ICE agents, even for doxing them, kidnapping them, killing them. There's different levels of the bounties that are on the ICE agents right now coming from Mexican cartels. So I'm trying to see what is the response going to be to that, because I think that's what they're going to be talking about in that meeting.
Needs to stick its nose in everything, but because there has to be some certainty here. Clearly there's a turf war between the CFTC and the SEC, and it's Congress's role to delineate who has jurisdiction over what. Now, we did pass one piece of what you might call crypto legislation. We passed the Genius Act, as you know, Mr. President. That was an important piece of legislation, but it really was just a baby step. It regulates stable coins, which is only one part of the digital assets business. I'm certainly not denigrating the effort. I voted for the bill. I sit on the banking committee. The Congress passed the bill. It's a good bill. It was necessary. I congratulate everybody who worked so hard on it. But it's only a small portion of the digital assets market. Now we need to turn to the rest. And the House is
Mac, Roar, your messages are coming through.
already acted. The House has passed a bill called the Clarity Act, which does just what I've been talking about, providing some market structure legislation for the crypto currency.
Terrorism, trying to keep our nation safe. And why Speaker Johnson will check their mail or check their bank accounts and not see the money that they've earned, the money that they've earned for doing the work of the American people. Because hundreds of thousands of civil servants, including roughly 750,000 furloughed government workers, will sit down at the kitchen table tonight and ask some hard questions. Which bills do we pay? What do we do to cut back? How long can we go without a paycheck? These are tough questions, but they are only being asked because President Trump and Speaker Johnson and others have decided that they would rather plunge our government into a shutdown rather than address healthcare cost crisis for millions of Americans that are.
Are they still trying to blame the shutdown on the Republicans? Let's watch this.
And they would send $500 million to liberal news outlets by refunding the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. It would also restore up to $5 billion of American taxpayer funds for wasteful spending for international projects. Here's a couple of examples. This is in their legislation, their counterproposal on the CR to keep the lights open. This is what they want to do. They want to spend $24.6 million of your hard-earned dollars as a taxpayer for climate resilience in Honduras. They want to spend $13.4 million for civic engagement in Zimbabwe. They want to send $3.9 million for LGBTQI plus democracy grants in the Western Balkans. They want to spend $2.9 million of your dollars for desert locust risk reduction in the Horn of Africa. And $2 million for, quote, organizing for feminist democratic.
Here we go. This is the video I want to show. This is a much better video. Let me get us dialed in here while we wait for, let me get us set up here. There we go. Let's go here.
Welcome, everybody. We're on day 15 of the Democrat government shutdown. Not a good day on Capitol Hill, not a good day across America, because real Americans are feeling the pain due to the Democrats' political nonsense.
Thank you, Linda.
We want to specifically focus this morning on one area that's gotten a lot of attention and one segment of the population that truly deserves better treatment than the Democrats are giving them, and that is our military. Today, if it weren't for the bold leadership of President Trump helping us to protect our military, everyone needs to understand that 1.3 million active duty service members would be missing a paycheck. They'll get their check, thankfully, because President Trump has shown strong leadership. And under his direction, the Department of War has now redirected unspent funds to ensure that our troops are taken care of. And this is while Democrats are playing political games. Last night, they played some games. They stormed my office. Maybe you saw some of the video online that they themselves shared, or someone did. They berated a Capitol Police officer, screamed at him. He was just merely standing his post. Shows again their disdain for law enforcement, as we see all around the country, the Democrats and everyone in that party, screaming, assaulting the ICE officers. They did it right here in the Capitol last night. A few members of Congress went into the little foyer of my office and tore down a sign that I had up and just engaged in all sorts of political stunts and antics. They've been doing that every day now, and it shows their desperation. It also shows a very strong contrast between the party that is working for the people and trying to keep the government open and do the right thing, and the party that is engaging in all this nonsense. But they've shown by their actions and now their votes multiple times now, 9 times the Democrats have voted, counting the House and the Senate Democrats, they have voted to not pay the troops. They have voted to block their paychecks. And it's very serious stuff, and they don't seem to care at all. The problem we have right now is that in spite of President Trump's heroic efforts to make sure they get paid, that is a temporary fix because the executive branch's help is not permanent. It can't be. And if the Democrats continue to vote to keep the government closed, as they have done now so many times, then we know that U.S. troops are going to risk missing a full paycheck at the end of this month. And that means service members on deployment who've left their young families back home relying upon these checks. It means service members who are thousands of miles away from home. It means service members trying to make their rent and those who have ailing relatives that need to be taken care of. None of those people will be paid if the Democrat obstruction continues. And it should outrage every American because it does us. Democrats in Congress, again, have voted 9 times. Here's the tally. Every single time the Republicans have voted to pay the troops, and by the way, all other federal employees, federal workers, and the Democrats have voted over and over to stop it. And the depressing irony of this, on this particular subject, among all others, is that the most pro-shutdown Democrats actually represent the most active duty service members back home, whom they have taken hostage in this insidious political game. And I want to give you a couple of examples, and this is the actual statistic of the 10 states with the largest military populations. 6 are represented each by 2 Democrats in the Senate who are withholding the paychecks. Here's the list. In California, it's home to 157,000 active duty personnel, the most in the country. Those stationed at Fort Hunter Liggett and Camp Pendleton and Edwards Air Force Base and Vandenberg Space Force Base and others will all miss a paycheck at the end of the month if Democrat obstruction continues. Now, this is worthy of note. Both California senators, Adam Schiff and Alex Padilla, are gleeful about this government shutdown. They agree with Chuck Schumer when he said very candidly just a few days ago, every day of the shutdown gets better for us. Who's the us? He's talking about Democrats. He thinks this is assisting their party and giving him political cover so he doesn't attract a Marxist challenger in his next Senate re-elect. That's what this is about. So he thinks the government shutdown is allowing him to show a fight against President Trump and Republicans, and he is happy about that. And so are Adam Schiff and Alex Padilla, while service members are going without paychecks. Virginia. Virginia is home to 119,000 active duty personnel. It is the second most in the country. Those stationed at Naval Station Norfolk, Quantico, and Fort A.P. Hill, and others will miss paychecks at the end of this month if this is not resolved. Both Virginia senators, Tim Kaine and Mark Warner, are playing political games with the paychecks of 119,000 service members. Georgia. Georgia's home to 65,000 active duty personnel. It's the 6th most in the country. Those stationed at Fort Benning, Fort Stewart, Moody Air Force Base, and others will miss paychecks. And just last week, this is so aggravating to us. It's so frustrating to us. It's so wrong. We saw service members waiting hours in lines wrapped around the block at Georgia food pantries. And meanwhile, you've got both Georgia senators, John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock, have now voted 8 times against paying those heroes. In Washington, the state of Washington is home to 57,000 active duty personnel. It is the 7th most in the country. And those stationed at Fairchild Air Force Base in Naval Base Kitsap, Joint Base Lewis McChord, and others will miss paychecks. Both Washington senators, Patty Murray and Maria Cantwell, have repeatedly voted against pay for service members in the Evergreen State. Hawaii. Hawaii is home to 43,000 active duty personnel. It is the 8th most in the country. Those stationed at Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam, the Schofield Barracks, and others will miss paychecks. And both Hawaii senators, Mazie Hirono and Brian Schatz, have voted against paying soldiers stationed in Hawaii, and by the way, many of them are thousands of miles away from their families. Colorado is home to 35,000 active duty personnel, the 10th most in the country. And those stationed at Fort Carson, Buckley Space Force Base, Peterson Space Force Base, and others will miss paychecks. And you guessed it, both Democrat senators are from Colorado, John Hickenlooper and Michael Bennett, have voted against paying those troops in their state. And I just want to mention New York. It gets honorable mention. It isn't in the top 10. But the Empire State is home to 17,000 active duty personnel, the 17th most in the country. Those stationed at Fort Drum and Fort Hamilton and others will miss paychecks. And sadly, both New York senators, Kirsten Gillibrand and the architect of the shutdown himself, Chuck Schumer, can barely hide their delight that the government is closed and troops are not being paid. I will just say this. There's something that should be remembered by everyone. Democrats say that even missed paychecks for U.S. troops won't be enough to end this shutdown. The Democrats, who we just demonstrated, represent thousands and thousands of the most heroic men and women on the earth, refuse to put their unserious partisan demands to the side and pay the troops. And here are the indisputable facts of this shutdown. Republicans want to pay the troops, and we have shown that with our actions and our votes now 9 times. The Democrats want to use them as hostages to extort $1.5 trillion in new, unserious partisan spending that we just won't go along with. We won't sell out the long-term security and future of the United States so that Chuck Schumer can prevent a primary challenge from his left wing. We will not be a part of that nonsense. And until Schumer and the left wing of his party are satisfied enough that the pain this shutdown has caused has reached a limit that they're satisfied with, then Republicans are going to stand here every single day. We're going to continue to deliver the simple facts directly to the American people. And today we brought in some of our House Republican leaders who represent many of these military districts and they're being so deeply and adversely affected by the Democrats' senseless games. And the first up that I'm delighted to introduce is the chairman of our Main Street Caucus in the House Republican Conference, and that is Congressman Mike Flo.
I'll tell you what, the House Republican Main Street Caucus couldn't be more proud of the leadership that we've elected to lead the House of Representatives. We stand united with this team that's remained in Washington to do God's work as we work our way through a very difficult shutdown. Speaking of Main Street, let's talk about what this means. I represent Offutt Air Force Base in Bellevue, Nebraska. We have over 10,000 airmen there. What do? We are in charge of deploying the nuclear triad. Think about that. It's very important work. And today, we have 2,300 of our civilian employees furloughed. We're holding diaper drives. The food pantry is getting stocked with more food. There's uncertainty on that base. The men and women who go to work every day to keep us safe, to provide that strategic deterrent on what could be the world's worst day, don't need this stress. We don't need this stress, especially to satisfy the political future of a New York Senate leader. This could have been avoided. He did the right thing, Mr. Schumer did, in March. He's a pro. He knows political calculus. He paid a high price for it, and now people in my district are paying a high price, and it's not right. And by the way, as a country, we're better than this. We are way better than what's happening across our bases. And so to the people at Offutt Air Force Base and every military installation, the Main Street Caucus is here to say thank you for what you do. Whether you're furloughed or not, we appreciate every single one of you. Thank you again, Mr. Speaker, for having us, and thank you for inviting and including the Main Street Caucus.
Well, I'm not going to introduce each of them. I'll ask them to do that themselves, but I do want to introduce the vice chair of the Main Street Caucus, and that is Congresswoman Laurel Lee, of the state of Florida.
Thank you, Mr.
Let's see what she has to
Speaker,
say
and
here.
thank you all for being here today. We are here today because the American people deserve to know the truth about why our government is shut down. The reality is simple. This shutdown was entirely preventable. It's happening because Democrats have refused to work with Republicans on our responsible, common sense funding measure. House Republicans did our work. We passed a straightforward extension of funding to keep the government open while ensuring our troops, our Border Patrol agents, and all essential services are fully supported. But at every turn, Senate Democrats have instead chosen obstruction and delay. They voted again and again to stop temporary funding that would have kept the government open. Again and again, they put partisanship ahead of the needs of the American people. And it's hardworking American families that are paying the price. In my district, we see these impacts firsthand. At MacDill Air Force Base, there are thousands of brave men and women in uniform. Many have young families in our schools and spouses who work on base and in our communities. In addition, some of our very best neighbors work as civilian technicians and managers at MacDill and keep critical services, not just for our community, but for our country, operate. These are the people who will feel the strain of this shutdown and Washington's dysfunction the most. The service members, the civilian workforce who serves alongside them, and the federal workers and their families. They are now left to worry about their bills, about groceries, about paychecks, all because of political games by Senate Democrats. They deserve better than this. They deserve leadership that puts our country ahead of politics. House Republicans have already voted to ensure our service members receive their pay, and we will not allow America's heroes to suffer because of this political brinksmanship. Thanks to President Trump's leadership, the Pentagon identified funding to make sure that our troops are paid this month, even in the face of this needless shutdown. This is not about politics, it is about priorities. Our priority is the American people. Ability for your families and to get this country back on track. It's time for Democrats to stop political games, to stop holding our troops and our federal workers hostage to their agenda, and to join us in putting the American people first. Thank you. And now we have our colleague, Representative Lalota.
Good morning, everybody. Fully funding our military is the most important thing our Congress can do. And 15 days into this shutdown, it's time for Chuck Schumer to do what's right and show a fraction of the courage and selflessness our troops display every day. Before I came to Congress, I was a Navy man. I deployed overseas 3 times alongside
I like his pin.
some of the most
Those of you from the military, do you know what that pin is?
selfless and brave Americans our nation has to offer. These men and women serve their nation in hot engine rooms overseas, on dangerous aircraft carrier decks conducting night flight operations, and on island chains ensuring they didn't become a safe haven for terrorists. The sailors I served with risked everything, time away from home, injury to themselves, even their own lives in defense of our great nation. And I think that kind of courage demands some sort of selflessness as well from our nation's leaders too. Thankfully, President Trump showed the boldness and decisiveness to ensure that our troops got paid. and they didn't miss today's paycheck. That's welcome news for our families who serve our great country, who frankly we don't pay enough as it is. But true pay is just one piece of the puzzle. A prolonged government shutdown endangers America's national security.
Candy says, you look like a friend I shoot pool with. Hopefully he's handsome.
Halting contracts, furloughing half of the Defense Department's civilian workforce, and disrupting intelligence and operations. It weakens our ability to compete with China, Russia, North Korea, and our other adversaries. It delays training, it delays deployments and housing support, and reduces overall readiness. Like Chuck Schumer, I'm a New Yorker. And I'll say this plainly.
Hell yeah, thank you,
The
man.
next generation of New York Democrats are socialists, like AOC and Zoran Mondani. And they're dragging their party towards socialism. They want open borders, they want taxpayer-funded health care for illegal immigrants, and they want government-run grocery stores. Just look at the race right now for New York City mayor. Now, I know that socialism doesn't come naturally to Chuck Schumer. It was said before that just back in March, he supported the same clean CR that we're asking him to support today. Back in March, he had a backbone, Chuck Schumer. He stood up to his party's radical base and said he would put the nation before his own political
Chuck Schumer had a backbone? When was this, bro? Did I miss that? What happened? What's going
And
on?
he took a lot of flack for doing so. And that's why he's changed his course. But we're here today to call on him to do better and to put the country before his own political job. And we're asking that he put the hundreds of thousands of federal workers that rely on a continuing resolution, we're asking him to support that. And we're asking him to put the millions of Americans before his own political future. We New Yorkers, we pride ourselves on being tough. So I'm asking Chuck Schumer to be tough and to stand up to his own party's base.
What's up,
Stand
Bethany?
up to AOC and Mondani. Be brave like our troops. And do your job and reopen our government. I want to introduce my good friend, also military veteran, Air Force. Don't hold the Air Force part against him.
Did you guys, I don't know if you guys heard me. Do you guys know what his pin is, that green pin? That's a pretty cool pin.
An Air Force colonel who's doing a hell of a
It matches his tie real nice. I like
job
that.
fighting for his constituents in Iowa, my friend Zach.
Thanks, brothers. Whenever you can get the Navy and the Air Force on the same target, we're moving in the right direction. Friends, here's the reality right now. This government shutdown does not have to happen. We have a reality before us.
I stopped wearing pins a while ago, but I don't know. Maybe I can put that on my hat or something.
Where 1.5 million
Stopped wearing suits a while ago. Did I say that? Or did I misspeak?
troops, both those active duty and those in the Guard and Reserve,
Oh,
are
state
on
line
fixed
answered.
deals where they're going to be able to feed their families.
Royal Marines Globe
I'm
and
so
Law.
proud to be
Okay.
standing with fellow patriots up here, many of them who have served. I'm one of those members who have served not only in combat, but continue to serve in my reserve capacity now. I've already committed my drill this weekend, and speaking with frontline members who are serving in uniform, our brothers and sisters, the sons and daughters of families who have sacrificed to have their child be in the military. They all have the same question. Why is this happening, and what is the mission to be able to stop it? Well, let's be very clear. The House of Representatives has executed its portion of the mission. Fully pay our federal government. The majority of the House, the majority of the Senate, the majority of the American people want this.
And would it be a crime if I was to wear one of these pins without without being in the Marines or the Navy or anything?
But the reality is, there's a handful of individuals in the Senate who have put a stop to it. And this is where I agree with one of my colleagues. We don't govern by temper tantrum, he said. We'd be hurting millions of
That would be stolen valor, you think? Is that what? Yeah, you should be considered. Oh, I would be considered stolen. Damn it, that sucks.
Americans.
Even if you just support it and you love the pin?
And we'd be treating them as leverage. That was Chuck Schumer in 2018.
Yeah.
Another colleague said, this is irresponsible. No, it's reckless. My other colleague,
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi.
Totally get it, of course.
That was in 2013. A fellow colleague said it's not normal to hold 800,000 workers, or in this case, over 1 million military members and their paychecks hostage. That was from AOC in 2019. Team, we've heard about the first-hand impacts to individuals. And it
It
goes
says, random says, just don't ever wear it.
beyond just
Or
America.
don't wear it ever.
What's happening right in our own districts as we look at this. Today, 15,000 National Guardsmen from Iowa were in danger of not being able to decide whether to put a down payment on a new car or being able to put food in the refrigerator. 2,000 of those members.
But State Line, I looked it up, and that pin with the is that an eagle on top? That exact pin, I didn't see it under what you described.
Are right now deployed on the front lines in U.S. CENTCOM in Iraq. And even more of their families are wondering not only will they be safe, but will they be able to take care of their kiddos back home. So I called them up, and I said, hey, First Class Chase Holmes is a sergeant with our Iowa National Guard. He's currently preparing operations to be able to defend the country overseas. But because of the shutdown, critical joint training between his team and NATO was canceled. We spoke with an Iowa Guardsman and chaplain for the 224th Combat Engineers Battalion, Caleb Wyman. He is leading part of the 1,800 Guardsmen currently deployed to the northern part of Iraq right now. And he told me plainly, we're working, but we don't know if we'll get paid. I'll put my life on the line, but I hope someone's there to take care of my family if my paycheck doesn't come through. These aren't theoretical. These are real people, real impact, real costs. Let's be blunt. The shutdown of the government has only one hostile actor, and there's a few individuals in the Senate who refuse to put the country before the hostage of the 350+ million Americans they've taken. It's unacceptable, and that is why I'm grateful that while President Trump is helping lead peace in the Middle East, with the men and women who are on the front lines providing
James.
it, we have folks at home who need to do the same job and stand up for this country first. Thank you to my colleagues, but most importantly, thank you to all our federal workers, and God bless our troops. With that, I'm thrilled to introduce our
This
leader,
pin right here.
on the front line of this himself, Mr. Scalise.
Can you see it? That's a cool pin.
Thank you, Zach.
I mean, they all are,
and
but
all of my colleagues
look at that
who
one.
you just heard from, many of whom served our nation bravely in our nation's military.
Anybody know what this is?
I want to say thank you to the over 1 million men and women in uniform who continue to serve right now, despite the uncertainty. That uncertainty that does not need to exist. And why? Because Chuck Schumer is more afraid of the radical leftists in his own party than he is concerned about making sure that those families don't have to wonder about whether or not they're going to be able to put food on the table. Their families, while they're overseas, many of them, are going to be able to put food on the table during this Schumer shutdown. And keep in mind, over 1/3 of all men and women who serve in uniform right now, over 1/3 of them live paycheck to paycheck. That means when Chuck Schumer is voting to deny them pay, many of them will not be able to make their rent payment or their mortgage payment. Many of them will not be able to make their car note payment. And the stress that that adds to their lives.
Come on, guys. Saudi Arabian flag.
Unnecessarily. Should not happen. Did not need to happen.
Moose Lodge.
This House came together. I'm so proud of the men and women I serve with in Congress, here in the House where we did our job weeks ago. We sent the bill over to the Senate. That doesn't resolve all of our differences. People often say, gee whiz, why can't Washington just get together? You know, which side's going to win this thing? It's not about which side wins. It's about stopping the American people from being the losers in Chuck Schumer's fight while we go negotiate our differences. We have big differences we need to negotiate, and the clean CR that we passed over the Senate does not resolve those differences. It just gives us some more time to have that negotiation. And by the way, that clock is getting sooner every day. November 21st is not extending every day that Chuck Schumer continues this charade that he's playing with the lives of millions of American families. That date is going to get closer every day, where we're not going to have as much time to negotiate our differences. And how big are those differences? Just look at the wish list, the hostage list that Chuck Schumer filed weeks ago, his demands that he said have to be met before he'll even open up the government again. $1.5 trillion in new unrelated spending Chuck Schumer demanded, including, yes, Eliminating all the verifications so that illegals will get taxpayer-funded health care. That's in Chuck Schumer's bill. Chuck Schumer guts the $50 billion rural hospital fund to give taxpayer-funded health benefits to illegals in his hostage demands. That's not going to happen. And so when are we going to have a rational conversation? When are Democrats going to actually become serious in this discussion where they say, let's open up the government and start talking about our differences, about how we're going to get this country back on track? And in contrast, again, just look at what happened yesterday. Some of us were at the White House at just an amazingly emotional ceremony where President Trump posthumously, unfortunately, issued the Medal of Freedom to Charlie Kirk. And his incredibly brave widow, Erica, was there.
That's
to
a
receive it on
surface
his
warfare.
behalf and gave another emotionally powerful speech. And this comes on the heels of President Trump returning from the Middle East, where he was in Israel, he was in Egypt, working with other world leaders to establish historic Middle East peace. President Trump's been doing all those things, and in the middle of doing all of those things, he had to go find time to figure out creatively a way to pay our troops, even though Chuck Schumer wants to defund our troops. Yes, the party, the Democrats, that were for and continue to be for defunding our police now want to defund our military troops by not paying them, by not opening up the government. And the votes are clear. Nobody has to wonder which side is for shutting down the government, which side is for trying to deny troops their pay. We had yet another vote, the 8th time on the Senate floor yesterday. While we were at the White House, the Senate was having that vote on whether or not to open up the government, and you saw Democrats continued, led by Chuck Schumer, to shut down the government and deny troop pay. It's embarrassing. It's not just unserious, it's having devastating consequences on millions of Americans around this country, and it doesn't need to happen. We shouldn't have to wait until the Hate America rally this weekend, or whatever it is that's driving Chuck Schumer to keep this going on, this damage that's being inflicted, so that he thinks it's going good for him, while it causes damage, real harm to millions of American families, including our service men and women who are so bravely risking their lives for these great freedoms that we enjoy. We're going to continue to fight for freedom. We're going to continue fighting to open this government and do our jobs. And the whip of our conference is my friend, Tom Emmer.
If Chuck Schumer and the Democrats had things their way, more than 1 million service members would not get paid today. Thankfully, our commander-in-chief stepped up where the Democrats have refused by reallocating funds to ensure our troops receive their hard-earned paychecks today. Thanks to President Trump, military families across the country will have the resources they need to continue making ends meet just a little bit longer. Yet,
Could it be two
Democrats'
pins?
response? Representative Madeline Dean told CNN yesterday, quote, "This is..."
Could that be two pins on top of each other? Or is it maybe one? If that, I don't know. That's a nice one. I like that pin a lot. That's really cool.
Not the way to run a government, close quote. Making sure our troops get paid is not the way to run a government? You know what is actually not the way to run a government, Representative Dean? Holding the American people hostage over your $1.5 trillion.
Could it be the bottom pin is this pin right here? Is this is the House pin? Yeah, this could be. Hold on, let me show you guys. It's not on your screen here, right here. This, I believe, is the House member pin that you guys mentioned, right there. You can see, like right here. Right? Yeah, bottom is House member pin, and then the top could be that other pin you guys mentioned. I thought it's one pin. That's cool. I really like it. That's a good one. Trump is live. Trump is live. Here we go. Hang on one sec. Let me get our sound up.
And now they're going out 3 times a week Restaurants are opening. Restaurants are full. And usually that means a lot of good things. But restaurants that were closed are now opening up. And everybody's happy. It's nobody's ever seen anything like it, actually. And everybody feels safe. You can have a child walk right through the middle of Washington, D.C., and nothing's going to happen. We were losing more than one person a week in Washington. They're being killed on an average of over one a week. The Make D.C. Safe Task Force has been incredible. And the Make Memphis Safe Task Force is having very similar results. It's much earlier, but we've been there for a week and a half, but I'm hearing the results are pretty incredible, and you'll hear about that. They're mobilizing more than 20 federal agencies for the largest law enforcement operation targeting violent criminals in American history. As a result of these efforts, violent crime declined nearly 20% nationwide compared to the same period last year, and it was the safest and most peaceful summer in 2 decades. And honestly, we haven't really even gotten going yet. If we didn't have to fight all of these radical left governors, we could have had Chicago taken care of, as an example. They had, in a short period of time, 4,000 murders in Chicago, and we have to listen to this man stand up and say that we're bad people. And the people of Chicago are walking around with MAGA hats. You have women, beautiful black women, walking around with MAGA hats. Please let the president in, and we don't care how he does it. They're not interested in National Guard or Army, Navy, bring them in, Marines, bring in the Marines. They just want the crime to stop. And more so because of the success that we had in D.C. I think if we didn't have that success, nobody would even believe it. So I want to congratulate all of the incredible law enforcement professionals joining us today, especially Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's terrific, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, who is a fantastic legal talent. He really is. He's a great guy, too. And, of course, FBI Director Kash Patel. They have worked so hard on this and other things. Since the start of the administration, the FBI has arrested over 23,000 violent criminals, more than double the number arrested in the final year of the Biden disaster. The FBI has also destroyed or severely disrupted more than 170 organized criminal enterprises and gangs, 1,600 of the most violent gangs, and confiscated over 6,000 illegal firearms. And they've tracked down and arrested 4 fugitives on the most wanted list, 4 of the most wanted. Actually, 2 of them were the most wanted fugitives in the world. There's still much more work to be done, which is why the FBI continues to work alongside the Department of Justice, the Department of Homeland Security, and the Department of War to defend. And Pete Hegseth has been fantastic, by the way, on this too, on other things, but on this too. To defend law and order and combat violent crime, arrest illegal aliens, and make American cities the safest in the world. And when I campaigned, I talked about crime, but I never knew that we were going to get into it like we did. You know, I mean, I used to watch these cities with the murders. Chicago recently had one deal where they had 11 murders in one weekend, and they said, well, yeah, but it was a holiday weekend. They actually told me that was the reason, like it was okay because it was a holiday. It was Labor Day. These people are the worst. They really have to, they better, I tell you what, the people in Chicago and the people in places like that can be fixed. At some point, it gets to where you can't fix it anymore. It's too far gone. And we have some cities like that. But these are great cities that can be fixed. I'm going to be strongly recommending, at the request of government officials, which is always nice, that you start looking at San Francisco. I think we can make San Francisco. There's one of our great cities 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and now it's a mess. And we have great support in San Francisco, so I'd like to recommend that for inclusion, maybe in your next group. You'll get great support. Every American deserves to live in a community where they're not afraid of being mugged, murdered, robbed, raped, assaulted, or shot. And that's exactly what our administration is working to deliver. I didn't realize I was going to make this such a big factor in the administration. I didn't really campaign. I campaigned on crime, but I never thought we'd go into every city and take a really safe city that we've all been living with for years and make them safe. And now it's like a passion for me, and it's a passion for the people behind me. So I didn't get elected. I did get elected for crime, but I didn't get elected for what we're doing. This is many, many steps above. And I want to thank Stephen Miller, who's right back in the audience right there. I'd love to have him. I love watching him on television. I'd love to have him come up and explain his true feelings.
Right.
But maybe not his truest feelings. That might be going a little bit too far. But Stephen, thank you for doing an unbelievable job. And the people of this country love you, I'll tell you. And they love what you say about crime and stopping crime. So now I'd like to...
That's right. The Great White Hope, baby. Oh, yeah. You can see I like green. Love green.
In Chicago, and we brought the numbers down a little bit, and but that really was just preparatory work for what we're going to do with the surge. We're going to have a surge of strong, good people, patriots, and they're going to go in, they straighten it all out. So good to do with the surge.
Okay, good. This thing lets me pause it. Okay, cool. Hell yeah.
A lot of these cities we're already working on, but we don't do it with a big flavor. But in a little while, you're going to see some numbers that you're not going to believe. And I think you'll probably start with Memphis because I'm hearing the numbers are much quicker than we even thought possible. But again, D.C. it speaks for itself. Chicago is.
Love green, baby. Love Trump, baby. That's the Great White Hope, ladies and gentlemen.
The Great White Hope. The Great White Hope.
The Great White Hope, baby.
The Great White Hope.
Let's go.
It's going to be okay. We're going to save Chicago. And I told you, and I told them, a very respected man, the head of the Union Pacific, said, "Sir, save Chicago. It can be saved." And the way he said it, it was like, can you believe it? We're trying to save Chicago. But I understood exactly what he wants, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to save all of our cities, and we're going to make them essentially crime-free, like other countries have crime-free. If you go all over the world, you go to...
No, he's not, Jesse.
You hear Afghanistan, and you hear all these different places.
Should I play it? Let me just play it. We need to play it. Here we go.
A feminine man is a weak man because he's a woman. He's a beta.
No, he's not, Jesse.
Yeah, he's a beta.
No, he's not.
He is a beta.
A feminine man is a weak man because he's a... Here we go. One more time.
A feminine man is a weak man because he's a woman. He's a beta.
No, he's not, Jesse.
Yeah, he's a beta.
No, he's not.
He is a beta.
Our crime in certain cities is worse than anything they can even imagine. And we're not going to have that anymore.
Yeah, baby.
It's going to stop, and it stops right here. Cash, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. What I'd like to do is just highlight some of the outstanding work that the men and women of the FBI have been doing. And thanks to your brave leadership.
I want to hear them see what they want to do about these cartels that are putting bounties out for ICE.
And the mandate you were given by the American people to not only defend the homeland but crush violent crime. You tasked us with our great partners at the Department of Justice and the Attorney General and the Deputy Attorney General to start making arrests and bring prosecutions and safeguard our cities. And you said it. This is just the beginning. In just 7 months, I hope the media takes a look at every one of these charts because these are the best numbers for fighting crime in U.S. history, and it's only 7 months in. And to do that, our vehicle to do it of choice was Operation Summer Heat, which the FBI architected to go after violent criminals. And in just a 3-month span, you had 8,700 arrests of violent criminals. You had 2,200 firearms seized off the streets permanently to safeguard our communities. You had 421 kilograms of...
It's a loud, big, huge with a Y, huge tie.
Fentanyl seized. Just to put that in perspective, that's enough to kill 55 million Americans alone. You had 45,000 kilograms of cocaine seized, and thanks to our Department of Justice partners, you had 2,100.
He got his pants pulled up to all the way up like our grandpas. Love him, bro. Love him.
100 indictments in 3 months.
The Great White Hope.
From June to September alone. Mr. President, that in and of itself would be historic for a 4-year presidency. You did that in 7 months because you let good cops be cops, and you partnered us with the right people at the Department of Justice to put the handcuffs on and bring them to court and put them in prison. And if that weren't enough, when you look at the year, for the entire 7-month period that we're talking about here, if you look at the past 4 years of the Biden administration, 16,000, 17,000, 15,000, 15,000. That's
I haven't even heard a thing Kash Patel said just because I'm because of Trump and his tie and everything.
the number of arrests year over year of violent felons in this country for the Biden administration. Mr. President, in 7 months, you have 28,600 arrests of violent felons in just 7 months alone because of your leadership and the dedication of the men and women at the FBI who want to go out there and do the job they were prevented from doing because that department used to be weaponized and politicized. And this is what happens when you take out the fangs of weaponization. This number is historic by every metric. 28,000 people have been arrested, violent felons.
His tie is the size of Kash. His tie is literally the size of Kash Patel.
Alone.
Oh
and
my
when you
God.
go over there and look at some of these charts, if you don't mind, I'll just come over here. Look at the metrics for not just violent crime.
Oh my God.
Mr. President, during your administration, the FBI has found and located 5,400 children. That is a 30% increase year to date over the last administration. Violent crimes against children arrests alone are up 10%. Gang arrests are up 210% in the last 7 months alone. And transnational organized crime, which Stephen Miller has been a great partner in, is up over 12% alone. These numbers are historic just as a snapshot. But just so people don't think we're focusing on violent crime alone, the national security mission, Mr. President, under your leadership has never been stronger. We have gone after espionage activities against our main counterparts in China, Russia, and Iran. In China alone, we've had over a 50% increase in espionage arrests alone and prosecutions. In Iran, we have had a 50% increase, again, in espionage cases. And in Russia, we've had a 33% increase in espionage cases alone. When it comes to counterterrorism, year to date, we have 125 arrests this year versus 100 last year, year to date alone. And when it comes to the cyber criminal activities, which are some of the largest enterprises plaguing everyday Americans, we at the FBI have put out a mission to go after cyber criminals like never before. Last year, they had in total 191. This year, you already have 252 arrests. 52 arrests of violent cyber criminals who are stealing from senior citizens, who are violating our children's rights and freedoms, and who are violating everyday Americans. These programs are record.
Yeah,
and two of the things I'll finish with that I'm most proud of, Mr. President, this FBI. Fentanyl. As you know, it's a scourge that is killing our youth, 100,000 plus a year. To date, the FBI has seized 1,900 kilograms of fentanyl. That's enough lethal doses to kill 127 million Americans alone. To date. And if that weren't enough, Mr. President, you said we have to go after the worst of the worst. And you empowered our Department of Justice, our Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General, and the Deputy Director at the FBI, led the charge, not just on summer heat, but he also led the charge in the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives. These people have been on the run for years. And in 7 months, you captured not one, not two, not three, but 4 of the FBI's most top 10 fugitives. 4.
That's amazing.
And just
what the? That's amazing.
to put that in perspective, Mr. President, the Biden administration captured 4 in all of 4 years. You're on 7, and we're going to get to 10. We're going to get to 10 of 10. This includes a lady who murdered her 6-year-old handicapped child and fled to India. We got her in 2 months. This includes a narco trafficker. This includes a sex trafficker. This includes another first-degree murderer and gangbanger. These people were on the run because of the prior administration's reckless policies that destroyed our communities, and you came in and with a mandate said, go after the worst of the worst. This is just the beginning. This is what happens when you let good cops be good cops at the FBI. Mr. President, I just want to thank you for your incredible leadership, our brave partnership with prosecutors who know how to bring cases and make sure these arrests stick. And that's what the Attorney General and the Deputy Attorney General have led the charge across this country, because arrests without prosecutions are meaningless. We are deterring criminals from doing this activity. We are preventing criminals from coming into America, and we are absolutely crushing violent crime like never before and defending this homeland, sir. And not to mention, I almost forgot this one, it took you, sir.
Thank you, Linda. Hell yeah. Good looking out, Linda. Thank you for the super. Love you, dude. Thank you so much. Hell yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Thank you. Hell yeah.
The Abbey Gate bomber. Joe Biden had 4 years to look for him. You got them in 2 weeks, thanks to the interagency effort by the FBI and the CIA, went to Pakistan, and now 13 brave warriors who were senselessly murdered because of disastrous Afghanistan withdrawal. They have justice, their families have a peace of mind, and we're going to continue to find the others, Mr. President. On behalf of the FBI, sir, I just want to thank you.
Thank you very much, Kash. Great job.
The yellow tie.
President Trump,
Look at the tie, guys. Look at the tie, please. Oh my God. It really is amazing.
That's amazing.
Amazing.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. Look at that thing. It's so good, bro. It is so good. Dude, is it possible to love Trump even more? How is it possible? How does he do this to us?
The men and women of law enforcement say two things
bro.
to me repeatedly. First,
oh God, look at that. It's so good. And his pants are like my grandpa's pants all the way up. Dude, he's so good. That's so good.
you have taken the handcuffs off them and let them do their jobs, and you let cops be cops. That's why all this is happening. The director, the deputy director are working around the clock. All of these great men and women in the FBI, they have families at home, and they are working during a government shutdown right now. Many of them have small children. Many of them, I was talking to an agent this morning, many of them have babies at home, and they are working around the clock to not only keep our country, but our world safe. And
because they're down for America, and they're down for the Great White Hope, baby.
that's what Operation Summer Heat did. Thank you, Director, and to the Deputy Director for
Hell yeah.
everything you did on behalf of the Department of Justice, and you're going to continue to keep doing. And they set the stage for what we're doing in Memphis. You're going to hear a lot more about that, our joint task force next week, but they set the stage for Memphis. And last night alone in Memphis, there were almost 70 arrests. There were 12 guns seized. And there was a 70-year-old man arrested as a result of our operation in Memphis who raped a child under the age of 3. That one case makes everything we're doing worthwhile. So thank you all for being here on behalf of both of us. Thank you, President Trump.
Doug, you want to say something? Sure. Thank you, Mr. President. So this is a great day, and I think there's stats that the director talked about which are important, but I want to give 2 examples of what Summer Heat has done that actually will apply hopefully to everybody in this room. The first is for over 4 years during the last administration, there was a hotel in a town, the middle of a town in Alaska, that was being run as a drug den. There were over 1,000 calls to 911 over 4.5 year period. There were multiple violent crimes, drug dealers, overdoses, and murders at this one hotel, ruining a community. Summer Heat went in there. It's not only arrested all the participants that were controlling the hotel, but seized the hotel. And so that's one example of what Summer Heat means to everyday Americans that just want to live in peace. The second example is a large narcotics trafficking group that was selling fentanyl in the state of Washington. They were shipping fentanyl and using commercial aircraft, putting fentanyl pills and powder onto in suitcases, flying them from the southwest border, mostly Arizona, all the way to Washington. It had been going on for an extremely long time, and the entire organization was arrested. And I say those 2 examples because it's easy to look at the board and see 1,000 arrests. How much different is our communities now compared to the past 4 years? But there's actual life examples. Every one of these arrests means that our streets are safer, and that's because of the work of this administration, of President Trump and Director Patel. So I will tell you, Attorney General Bondi and I are together every day with Director Patel, figuring out ways that we can continue to do this work, and it's not going to stop. Like the Attorney General said, and like the President said, this is just the beginning, or phase 1, or a start, whatever you want to say, but it will continue on. So thank you, Mr. President, and thank you very much, Director Patel.
And Mr. President, just one last thank you from the men and women at the FBI. You found a way to get these individuals paid during a government shutdown, our 1811 agents. So on behalf of the FBI, it's a great debt that we owe you, sir. They're now allowed to pay for their families, so thank you.
And the military. Good.
That's right.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Any questions, please? Brian, go ahead.
First of all, I know the feedback I'm getting from the American people, they want to say thank you. Law and order is not an option in this country, it's a mandate. So I know the American people thank you for that. In terms of the guns that have been taken off the street, do you have a number of how many guns were taken away from someone that had a prior felony or a previous crime that perhaps we can prosecute that? Because I know that wasn't the case under Joe Biden.
We don't take guns off the streets of people that are allowed to have guns. So every gun that we're taking off the street is because it belongs to somebody who is not allowed to have it. Could be a felon, could be somebody who hears illegally. There's all sorts of conditions. But if there's a gun taken off the streets by the FBI, it's because the person who has it is not allowed to. It's not somebody who's lawfully allowed to have it. So every single one of those guns were taken off of people that aren't allowed to have them.
And not including the FBI, all of the other agencies. ATF alone since January 20th has removed over 25,000 illegal guns off our streets just since President Trump's been in office.
And Mr. President, if I could follow up on that, could there be any further conversation?
What's up, Benjamin? How are you, man? Benjamin. One love, Medi. Sorry, but I can't stay longer. I got your hat. He says, I got your hat and my JLP. Dude, Benjamin, this is the hat. This is the shirt, bro. Benjamin just got his shirt today. I shipped it out to him. Yeah, buddy. That's what I'm talking about, baby. He says, got the shirt, kicks ass, yellow color, one love to the chat. Haters, don't hate yourself into a pulmonary today. Love you, Beta. Beta. Don't be a
Beta male. Man, be a alpha male, not a beta male.
Hell yeah.
National concealed carry applied to actual DC.
Yeah, yours is a brighter yellow, bro. You got a good one.
Like if you had,
it's almost like Trump's tie, but yours is yours is a little more orangey yellow.
a driver's license in Texas and you had a permit, of course you can drive.
Well, as you know, they've been talking about that for a long time. It's an interesting question. A lot of people feel strongly both ways, but we are talking about that, Brian. Thank you.
Mr. President, on
James, I'm down. We got to add Pam Bondi as a palate cleanser, but I got to find a good photo of her.
Venezuelan boats, I want to ask you, why not have the Coast Guard stop them, which it is empowered by law to do?
This one right here still does. This one right here pretty much. Woo.
You know, this way you can confirm who's on the boat and ensure that they're doing what they suspect.
Because we've been doing that for 30 years, and it has been totally ineffective. They have faster boats. Some of these boats are seriously, I mean, they're world-class speedboats, but they're not faster than missiles. But we've been trying to do that for years, and so much of the drugs, 25-30% would come in through the seas. Right now we have, I would say, none coming in through the seas. In fact, I don't know about the fishing industry. If you want to go fishing, a lot of people aren't deciding to even go fishing. We've almost totally stopped it by sea. Now we'll stop it by land. But it never worked. It never worked when you did it in a very politically correct manner.
What's the next step in this war on cartels, and are you considering options? Are you considering strikes on land?
Well, I don't want to tell you exactly, but we are certainly looking at land now because we've got the sea very well under control. We've had a couple of days where there isn't a boat to be found, and that I view that as a good thing, not a bad thing. But
I agree, Linda. I always tell people I aspire to work as hard as Trump does.
We had tremendous amounts coming in by boats,
and I work harder than most people I've ever met. I'll tell you that right now.
Expensive boats. You know, they have a lot of money, very fast, very expensive boats that were pretty big. And the way you look at it is,
but at his age, if I can still be working that hard, or as hard as him at his age, wow.
Every boat that we knock out, we save 25,000 American lives. So every time you see a boat and you feel badly, you say, wow, that's rough. It is rough, but if you lose 3 people and save 25,000 people, these are people that are killing our population. Every boat is saving 25,000 lives, and you can see it. The boats get hit, and you see that fentanyl all over the ocean. It's like floating in bags. It's all over the place, and it's a tremendous. We're saving tremendous amounts of lives.
Yeah, Mr. President, on that issue. I know you've talked about. I have a question for you, and then I also have a question for Director Patel. I know you talked about having some distaste for Boston recently. Is this one of those cities that?
Awesome, Benjamin. Go hit the waves, bro. Go catch some waves.
You might be
see you again soon.
looking into, and can you give us a hint about other cities that you might be?
You're saying for where? For where?
For Boston.
Yeah. Well, Boston has a bad mayor who at least is a reasonable IQ person. You know, most of them are low IQ, but and they're so bad. I mean, what's going on in Chicago is just, you'd think the guy would say, hey, look, we have a problem, Mr. President. Could you come in and straighten it out? We could have that done in a month if we had their cooperation. It's going to be done anyway, but we could have it done in a month. Yeah, Boston, she's got 4 areas that are, wrong. And, somebody said, would we think about taking the World Cup away from Boston if they don't straighten it out? And the answer is yes. We have the right to do that with FIFA. So if we think that LA is going to be bad, or we think that applies a little bit to the Olympics too, but we'll talk about FIFA first. FIFA is very hot. If we think there's any reason that, whether it's Boston or anywhere else, that they're not doing their job, we're going to take those World Cup games and move them someplace else.
Thank you. And then Director Patel, there's been so many conspiracy theories swirling around about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Do you have any updates for us, especially in light of all?
Thank you, Linda. Yes, the Porsche is not for sale. It won't be for sale. I plan to collect it and pass it down to my kids with the other cars. But yes, thank you. MG Midget. My dad had one of those back in the day. Love those little cars.
Online content that everyone's been talking about.
The only thing we deal with at the FBI and the Department of Justice is facts. And we delivered at record speed a manhunt to capture Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin in 33 hours. And if you put that in perspective to Luigi Mangione with the Boston bomber, they took them 5 days and a police officer lost their life in their manhunt. We are running on absolutely every single lead. And the best thing we can do to honor my friend Charlie Kirk's life is to make sure that everyone involved is prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And that's what we're focused on, investigating the facts, not trading in conspiracy theories.
Okay.
Love
Mr.
that.
President, thank you so much.
Thank you.
In light of China's export curbs on rare earths, do you view India as a reliable partner going forward? And are you planning to meet Prime Minister?
You guys are talking about the World Cup in LA, and I'm in Southern California. I would love to have the World Cup. I'm sorry, the Olympics in LA, and I live in Southern California. Would love to have the Olympics here in LA. I mean, probably be the only time it will ever happen in my lifetime. But I can't agree. I mean, I kind of agree. I don't know if LA deserves that, man. Like, it's a mess.
Mr. Modi in Malaysia, are you open to talks in terms of trade?
Sure. He's a friend of mine. We have a great relationship. He just said that 2 days ago, as you know. We have a great relationship. No, we were not happy with him buying oil from Russia, because that lets Russia continue on with this ridiculous war where they've lost 1.5 million people, by the way. Russia's lost 1.5 million people, soldiers mostly. This is a war that should have never started, but it's a war that Russia should have won in the first week, and they're going into the 4th year. And I want to see it stop. So I was not happy that India was buying oil. And he assured me today that they will not be buying oil. That's a big stop. Now I got to get China to do the same thing. And I think we'll get it done. I think that President Putin, I think he wants to get it done. We'll see. There's a great animosity between him and Zelensky. You probably have noticed, right? And I think it's hurting the process. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, thank you. Curious, why did you authorize the CIA to go into Venezuela? And is there more information you can share about these strikes on the alleged
Well, I can't
drug
do
busts in
that,
the
but
Caribbean?
I authorized for 2 reasons, really. Number one, they have emptied their prisons into the United States of America. They came in through the border. They came in because we had an open border policy. And as soon as I heard that, I said, a lot of these countries, they're not the only country, but they're the worst abuser. And they've entered they've allowed thousands and thousands of prisoners, people from mental institutions, insane asylums, emptied out into the United States. We're bringing them back, but that's a really bad, and they did it at a level that probably not, many countries have done it, but not like Venezuela. They were down and dirty. And the other thing are drugs. We have a lot of drugs coming in from Venezuela. And a lot of the Venezuelan drugs come in through the sea, so you get to see that. But we're going to stop them by land also.
Does the CIA have authority to take out Maduro?
Oh, I don't want to answer a question like that. That's a ridiculous question for me to be given. Not really a ridiculous question, but wouldn't it be a ridiculous question for me to answer? But I think Venezuela is feeling heat, but I think a lot of other countries are feeling heat too. We're not going to let this country, our country, be ruined because other people want to drop, as you say, their worst. They have given us their worst. They've loaded up our country with prisoners, with mentally ill people that are seriously ill, criminally ill, and we're not going to take it. And so, I mean, it's just one of those things. And I can tell you, we've taken care of the sea. There's nobody, and we're watching. We're watching. And if we see it, we'll save it. Yeah, please.
On the ships, though, sir, there are Republicans and Democrats up on the Hill concerned that in the briefings they've gotten about those attacks, they're not necessarily getting information about who was on them and what exactly was on those ships. Can you ensure that?
But they are given information that they were loaded up with drugs, and that's the thing that matters. When they're loaded up with drugs, they're fair game. And every one of those ships they're not ships, they're boats, they're speedboats. They're extremely fast, record-setting type speedboats. They cost a lot of money, and they have a lot of money because they're drug sellers. But they know one thing, and they all have the same thing in common. There's drug dust. They call it drug dust. They call it fentanyl dust all over the boat after those bombs go off. And you can take along.
Attack them, though, that they're
We know before. We know when they go out. We know we have much information about each boat that goes out. Deep, strong information. Yeah, please.
Sir, you're going to have Vladimir Zelensky here this week. What is your message at this stage of the war for him? And shy of tomahawks.
To who is it?
For Zelensky.
Yeah.
And shy of tomahawks for Ukraine. Are you considering other options, and will you speak with Vladimir Putin about
No, we're looking at other options. We are. President Zelensky's coming in. I'm not a fan of the war. I'm not a fan of the way it started. It should have never happened. It wouldn't have started if I were president. The election was rigged. And because of that, we lost a lot of lives have been lost because of that war. Not American lives, but if I can save a lot of lives, that's why I'm in it. I want to save lives.
Guys, is it just me, or have we not talked about the cartels that put bounties out for ICE agents?
I've had 8 wars. The Prime Minister of Pakistan got up the other day, said so beautifully, says, you saved millions of lives. He told that to a group of people right in this office. He said the president saved millions of lives. And I think what he's referring to is the fact that that would have been with India nuclear war. That was getting very close. 7 planes they don't talk about.
No, I mean about Trump and Patel. I don't recall them talking about the cartels who put bounties out for ICE.
About it, but 7 aircraft were shot down. In fact, we have the new ambassador to India right here. They're well represented. You better represent us, not them.
Joshua has a pretty good idea. He says, send Antifa to Venezuela.
Okay.
I like that.
But Sergio's going to do a great job. He's going to do a great job. But no, we'll be talking about the war with him, and we'll be talking about, I mean, they want to go offensive. I'll make a determination on that, but they would like to go offensive, you know that, and we'll have to make a determination.
A local question, given you have the FBI Director
I love it.
General here today, Jim Jordan has asked Jack Smith to appear in front of the House Judiciary.
You mean deranged, Jack? He's a deranged individual.
Let me hear this one more time.
A question, given you have the FBI Director and it
takes so long.
What do you think the committee will find out?
Deranged Jack, you mean deranged Jack? He's represent us, not them, okay? 7 planes, they don't talk about it, but 7 aircraft were shot down. In fact, we have the new ambassador to India right here. They're well represented. You better represent us, not them, okay?
Yeah.
But Sergio's going to do a great job. He's going to do a great job. But no, we'll be talking about the war with him, and we'll be talking about, I mean, they want to go offensive. I'll make a determination on that, but they would like to go offensive, you know that, and we'll have to make a determination.
A local question, given you have the FBI Director and Attorney General here today, Jim Jordan has asked Jack Smith to appear in front of the House Judiciary.
You mean deranged Jack? He's a deranged individual, yeah.
He's asked him to...
Well, they should. I'm surprised it takes so long. You know, we're talking about violent crime. What about the crime against a political opponent? That's what we have to talk about, too.
I would like to understand the full extent to which the Biden-Harris Justice Department weaponized federal law enforcement. What do you think the committee will find out, Mr. Smith?
I think it was the worst weaponization of a political opponent in the history of the world, let alone this country. And I hope that everybody's, they're involved in it. I'm not. I'm the one that had to suffer through it and ultimately win. but what they did was criminal. Deranged Jack Smith, in my opinion, is a criminal. And I noticed his interviewer was, I think that was Weissman. And I hope they're going to look into Weissman too. Weissman's a bad guy. And he had somebody in Lisa, who was his puppet, worked in the office really as the top person. And I think that she should be looked at very strongly. There was tremendous criminal activity having to do. If we don't have fair elections in this country, we're not going to have a country. And I've said it from the beginning, fair elections and borders. And we need also fair press, because if you don't have fair press, it's very tough. And we've got the strongest border of anybody. Nobody has a border. We have a border where the numbers just came out again. You saw 0 people came in illegally. Now, we do take people into our country legally, but 0 people. But, you know, you're talking about a different subject. You're talking about political crime. They have committed massive political crime. I hope they're looking at Shifty Schiff. I hope they're looking at all these people. And I'm allowed to find out. I'm allowed to, you know, I'm, in theory, the chief law enforcement officer. But I have a very good, talented group. This is about something else. But I hope they're looking at political crime, because there's never been so much political crime against a political opponent as what I had to go through. They raided my house in Florida. It was an illegal raid. I have a lawsuit that was doing very well. And when I became president, I said, I'm sort of suing myself. I don't know. How do you settle the lawsuit? I'll say, give me X dollars, right? And I don't know what to do with the lawsuit. It's a great lawsuit. And now I won. It's sort of...
Wu-Tan, our president, bro. Our president. He is...
The great white hope. The great white hope.
I love it.
Looks bad. I'm suing myself, right? So I don't know. But that was a lawsuit that was very strong, very powerful. They raided illegally my house in Florida, Mar-a-Lago. They went through the drawers of my young son. They went through all of the cabinets and drawers of the First Lady. She walked in, she said, wow, what happened? Because she's very meticulous, and this wasn't so meticulous. As she looked into the drawers and she saw everything a mess. It's what they did against a person that just got out of office. And then you look at these corrupt people. You look at Hunter Biden. You look at the signature. As an example, the Europen. I just signed so many different things. An ad.
What's up, Ange? Good to have you back. Hell yeah. Welcome back, dude.
A 4-star general. I'm signing them left and right, the commissions. And by the way, I want to compliment John Thune and also Mike, our great speaker. But John Thune, all of a sudden I'm getting these things by the hundreds. I was getting one every 2 weeks. It would have been 4 years before you got them in more. You would have had some that didn't even get in, all because of Democrat.
You guys want to see the chat on this video? Just slamming Trump. You want to see it?
Obstruction. So John Thune did a great job. I must have signed 200 into the administration. We're just about caught up. It's amazing. And so compliments to John. He had to do some things that were very tough to do that he didn't want to do, but he was forced to do it by the Democrats. And as far as the shutdown's concerned, this is a Democrat Schumer shutdown. And he's trying to do it to get relevance back into the party because he's a loser. I've known him all his life. He's always been sort of a loser, but an intelligent one. But I think he's losing IQ points with time. I think that happens. I hope it hasn't happened with me. I know if it did, you guys will let me know about it very quickly.
Violent crime, sir. Here in D.C., a judge has given the 2 teenagers that beat up ex-Doge staffer Big Balls probation.
It's incredible.
And no jail time. Is this justice?
Jeanine Pirro is doing a fantastic job, and she is beside herself because you have these radical left judges that they beat the hell out of this guy. And it was many people against this one guy who was really trying to protect his girlfriend. He didn't want to hooded over the door but they really beat him up badly. That just happened, right? Yeah. Wow, that's terrible. I think the judge should be ashamed of himself. That's a big problem. You know, they can do their job and then they go into a court and the people are protected by these, I don't know where they come from. Where do these people come from? Where do the judges come from? I want to compliment on behalf of Pam and Todd and all of us because, Kash, I think that Jeanine has done a fantastic job. And the case I heard was like flawless. It's a flawless case. They have them on tape. They have everything. And then a judge gives them a little probation. These are rough guys. And they're young.
And if that happens, they're going to grow up. They're going to be real bad. They're going to cause a lot of problems. Yeah, please. Go ahead.
Sergio Gore has just gotten back from India. What were the conversations like with Prime Minister Modi and the other?
I think they were great. He reported to me that he's a great man, you know. Modi is a great man. That he loves Trump. Now, I don't know if the word love, I don't want you to take that any different. I don't want to destroy his political career, okay? But you have to understand, I've watched India for years. It's an incredible country. And every single year you'd have a new leader. I mean, some would be in there for a few months. And this was year after year after year. And my friend has been there now for a long time. And he's assured me there will be no oil purchased from Russia. I don't know, maybe that's a breaking story. Can I say that? Would you say? There will be no oil. He's not buying his oil from Russia. It started. You know, you can't do it immediately. It's a little bit of a process. But the process is going to be over with soon. And all we want from President Putin is stop this. Stop killing Ukrainians and stop killing Russians, because he's killing a lot of Russians. Again, it doesn't make him look good. It's a war that he should have won in 1 week, and he's now going into his 4th year. That does not make this big so-called war machine look good. But he could make a settlement. We're willing to settle. I thought we had a deal. The hatred of the two leaders is very, you know, it's an obstacle. It's an obstacle. There's no question about it. But I thought we had a deal 2 months ago. Who would think I created peace in the Middle East and can't
That's amazing. That's amazing.
get the two guys to settle? But I think we'll get them. But if India doesn't buy oil, it makes it much easier. And they're not going to buy. They assured me they will. Within a short period of time, they will not be buying oil from Russia. And they'll go back to Russia after the war's over. Jennifer?
On the shutdown, sir, are FBI officials being paid right now? Are all the FBI employees being paid, and are all the...
Well, that's what I understand. I hope so.
Thanks to you, thanks to your great work, Mr. President. The 1811 special agents at the FBI are going to receive their paychecks.
Got a lot of people paid, actually. We got the people that we want paid, okay? And we want the FBI paid, we want the military paid. We got the people that we want paid. And I'll tell you, the Democrats, they don't talk about this. You know, we're getting rid of programs that we didn't like, but that were negotiated in, but we didn't like. We're terminating those programs, and they're going to be terminated on a permanent basis. And it's thousands of people, and it's you know, billions of dollars. We're getting rid of a lot of things that we never wanted because of the fact that they made this stupid move. And they don't want to talk about it. You know, they have their day coming up. I hear very few people are going to be there, by the way. But they have their day coming up, and they want to have their day in the sun. But they should really make a deal. So what we're doing, I mean, they call him Darth Vader, but he's actually a very nice person, Russell Vogt. But Russell Vogt is really terminating tremendous numbers of Democrat projects. There's not only jobs, I mean, the project in Manhattan, the project in New York, it's billions and billions of dollars that Schumer has worked 20 years to get. It's terminated. Tell him it's terminated, Jennifer. All right.
On Hamas, sir, what is your understanding of the pace of returning the deceased hostages? Are you pleased?
Well,
with
they're
that
looking
pace?
for them. Absolutely. They're looking. So we have the living hostages all back. They returned some more today. It's a gruesome process. I almost hate to talk about it. But they're digging. They're actually digging. There are areas where they're digging and they're finding a lot of bodies. Then they have to separate the bodies. You wouldn't believe this. And some of those bodies have been in there a long time. And some of them are under rubble. They have to remove rubble. But there are graves, and some are in tunnels that died in tunnels that are way down under the earth. And the tunnels are like 3 feet. Can you believe it? 3 feet high. They lived like this for a long period of time. It's a horrible atrocity. At the same time, we, meaning Israel, but I knew everything they were doing pretty much. I knew most of the things they were doing, but they've killed probably 70,000 of these people, Hamas. And I said, it's time now. So we'll see what happens. We'll also see what happens. Your next question is going to be the weapons. We want the weapons to be given up, sacrificed, and they've agreed to do it. Now they have to do it. And if they don't do it, we'll do it.
We had the head of CENTCOM today suggests that Hamas needs to hurry up and disarm and follow your comprehensive plan.
Yeah.
That it was the head of CENTCOM saying that. Is that not a signal to Hamas, to the rest of the world, that at some point the U.S. military may more directly engage?
We won't need the U.S. military. We won't need it.
Why not just yield?
Because we're very much involved in it. If we weren't involved, there wouldn't be peace. If we didn't destroy the nuclear capability of Iran, that deal would have never happened for two reasons. The Arab nations would not have felt bold enough to do it because you have a very powerful, at that time, Iran. It's not powerful anymore, between what Israel and us did, because, you know, the attack was, if you look at it, we helped them very much. They will be the first to tell you, including shooting down thousands of drones that were coming into Israel. You know, we shot them down. We were shooting them down like it was target practice, but we shot down thousands of drones and missiles also going into Israel. But between what we did to Iran that way with the, you know, conventional, we will call it, and what see that beautiful plane, that B-2, I noticed it on the desk. I always thought it was beautiful, but I never understood it. Now I understand. It took in hundreds of thousands of bombs in the form of two, but hundreds of thousands of pounds of bombs. And every single bomb hit perfectly. Then they sent Tomahawks in. They sent 30 Tomahawks on top of it. And that was totally, you know, CNN said, well, maybe it wasn't as bad as, you know, as Trump said, because I said obliterated. Obliterated is not a strong enough word, actually. And you saw the Atomic Energy Commission came out and said the word obliteration is very, very, think of it. They came in under potential fire. They entered Iran airspace late at night, in the dark, no moon. The moon was low for a reason. What time?
Hell yeah, Ange. We hit 5,000 on this stream. It was so cool, so cool. Thank you, thank you.
Picked it. Couldn't see anything. And they hit every target, and they weren't hit. Nobody saw that plane. That plane is stealth. Nobody saw it. The problem with that is it may be stealth today, but tomorrow it won't be. And we just ordered about 20 brand new B-2 bombers. It's unbelievable as a weapon. I know Putin, when I was riding with him in Alaska, we passed a lot of them. And he said, that really did the trick. I said, yeah, it did. It's amazing. The flying wing.
But you still foresee no reason for the U.S. military to get involved in Gaza?
No, I don't see that. No, I think we're going to handle it very well. We'll be helping Israel. But we have other countries that are now. You know, we signed, many countries signed. And many of those countries relatively are very strong military powers. And Hamas has no support. See, Hamas had the support of Iran. And now Iran says, don't get us involved. The last time they got them involved didn't work out too well. So they used to have the support of Iran. Today, Iran they're trying to survive. You know, when I heard the reports 2 weeks ago, Iran's looking to build a nuclear weapon, I said, don't worry about it. They got a lot of things they want to do before nuclear weapons. I said, the last thing they want to do is a nuclear weapon. It didn't work out. And if they did a nuclear weapon before they got even close, that site would be attacked and it would be wiped out. Yeah.
Mr. President, you're meeting with President Xi in a few weeks.
Yeah.
If you can't come to an agreement or a deal at that meeting, are we in for a sustained trade war with China?
Well, you're in one now. Look, we have 100% tariff. If we didn't have tariffs, we would be exposed as being a nothing. We would have no defense. You know, they've used tariffs on us, but we've never had anybody sitting in that chair that felt the need to do it. And they've allowed us to be $37 trillion in debt, et cetera, et cetera. Tariffs are a very important tool for our defense, for our national security. If we don't have tariffs, we're not going to have national security. As an example, if you look at Pakistan and Iran, I told them I was in the midst of negotiating a trade deal with Iran, and Pakistan was going to be in line. And because of tariffs, they all want to negotiate much differently. We're making a good deal. And then I heard that they're shooting at each other. And I said during one of my conversations, are you guys going to go to war? Two nuclear powers. We are thinking about, I said, here's the deal. You go to war, I'm going to put a 200% tariff. I'm going to stop you from doing any business in the United States. I said it to both of them. Within 24 hours, the war ended. That would have been a nuclear war. And again, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, who was here 2 weeks ago, said, that man saved many millions of lives in front of a whole group of people because he thought it was going to be war. But when it came to war or having to pay massive tariffs, the tariffs overrode. That's why it's so important. Not only the money, we're taking in trillions of dollars, not only the money, the power to keep peace, the power to be used for good is enormous. But a lot of people didn't understand tariffs. It's also made us very rich. We have a big case coming up in the Supreme Court, and I will tell you, that's one of the most important cases in the history of our country. Because if we don't win that case, we will be a weakened, troubled, financial mess for many, many years to come. I don't even know if survivable is a good term. And if we do, we're going to be the most powerful economic country in the world. And all we're doing is using them as a defense against what took place for many years. China would charge us tariffs. It was incredible, but we weren't allowed to charge. And we're allowed to do whatever we want. We just had presidents that didn't want to do it for whatever reason. And it was nothing. But of the 8 wars, I was saying 7, of the 8 wars, I would say tariffs are directly responsible for me ending 6 of them, 5 or 6. Without the tariffs, you have wars raging all over the world. With the tariffs, other than Russia, we have no wars out there. And we've made a lot of good friends, too. Tariffs are so important to our national security. If we don't have tariffs, we don't have national security. Our country would suffer a level that, because they're used so strongly on us. As an example, the European Union, they won't take our cars, they won't take our agriculture, they won't take anything, but they send their cars in, Mercedes, BMW, Volkswagen, by the millions. We don't send any cars.
This was my post 9 weeks ago. This lady became the health, what do you call it? She's the president of Canada's Public Health Agency. She's Muslim. Say goodbye to Canadian bacon and ham. Oh, man.
They don't take them. They were tariffing us out.
Canada's gone.
Agriculture.
Is gone.
They don't take our agriculture. They want their farmers to do it. I understand that. But it was very unfair, and they were
France is
tariffing our
gone.
product. They're keeping out by using tariffs. And we didn't use them, but I used them. And now we made one of the great deals with your $650 billion they pay us. And we've evened it out. It's really a good thing to see. And you have to understand, they've all signed. Japan, South Korea. I mean, South Korea, $350 billion up front. Japan, $650 billion. And they've all agreed to it. They're all happy. But before, it was a total ripoff. And if we don't have the use of tariffs, we have no national security. This country will have no...
Yep, France is gone, England gone, Canada gone. I'm sure there's a few I'm missing.
Financial security will not have national security. And the people that brought the lawsuit are people that are aligned with foreign nations that are now being treated fairly as opposed to just ripping us off and ripping us asunder. So, but if we are not allowed to use what other people use against us, there's no defense. It'll be a disaster for America. That's why I think I'm going to go to the Supreme Court to watch it. I've not done that, and I had some pretty big cases. I think it's one of the most important cases ever brought, because we will be defenseless against the world. Okay?
You'll go to the tariff case?
Did you have one? Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to ask you about the Georgia Senate race. I know it's very early, but there's several Republicans in that field that are vying for your endorsement.
A lot of good people in that field.
Yes.
I know all of them, actually. I haven't made a decision on that, but you have some very good people in the Georgia Senate race.
Well, Governor Trump has endorsed...
Italy may be holding it down. Italy is setting a good example. So is Poland, guys. Italy and Poland.
No, I know. The governor has it. He's spoken to me about it a lot. He likes that candidate a lot. And I understand that. I haven't made a decision yet. But I'm following that race very carefully. I think it's very important for Georgia to get a real senator, because the senator they have now is a horrible senator.
Good to see you, Candy. Have a good one. Thank you.
He allows all the crime, all the borders. You have open borders. I mean, his whole philosophy is a disaster. That's not representative of the people of Georgia. I know the people of Georgia. I won Georgia 3 times, but they say twice. Okay, I won it very big the last time, and I won it big the first time, and I won it big the second time. But we had criminals that didn't allow. I mean, I hope they're going to go into that. I hope they go into the votes which are being stored in Fulton County and take a real look at those votes, okay? Because I won it the second time, too. But I know Georgia very well. I love Georgia. Those people are great, and they deserve a good senator because the man they have now is a weak, ineffective person. Okay.
Mr. President, I wonder what you make of it.
By the way, you won Georgia 3 times. Just
Yeah, I agree. Do you agree with me?
I
And
do.
he's the media.
For someone that
He's the
spends
media.
a lot of time in Georgia, I believe you won that. I really have a question about
You know, the word believe isn't strong enough, right?
Yeah,
You
I
know.
there you go.
It's true. I know I won, too. We have the great Newt Gingrich. Newt, you agree with us? Good. Otherwise, I'd have him dismissed immediately from the room. You know, his wife, as you know, is becoming an ambassador to a great country, Callista, so congratulations. And we're going to take a picture. And the only reason I'm doing it, he speaks so well of me. He said, I'll go down as the greatest president in history. And then he blew it. He said, I'm not sure if I put him above Washington or Lincoln. So I'm not that happy about that, dude.
About the weaponization of the DOJ. The media often says your department is weaponizing the DOJ.
Yeah, that's the opposite.
It's the opposite. Todd, you represented President Trump and probably the greatest weaponization of the DOJ by Alvin Bragg. You know firsthand, if you could describe what you saw under the Biden administration and how they weaponized the DOJ.
Well, I mean, I think it's hard to describe what happened those last 4 years against President Trump. Alvin Bragg, a local prosecutor, his office staffed by somebody from DOJ. Jack Smith, picked as a special counsel, staffs his entire office with DOJ prosecutors. And then there are countless things that happened, all in writing, most of them on the docket, that require no explanation except a complete abomination of the place that the Attorney General and I run now and Director Patel. So when people talk about this department weaponizing, it's embarrassing. Because there's no scenario in which you can look at what we're doing, restoring justice, doing the right thing in every single case, and say that that's weaponization, and yet remain eerily silent about what happened for the past 3 years. I mean, you read these articles and giggle, because it cannot be true that people really think that what they did to him, not once, not twice, I'm still counting 3, 4 times, but we're the ones that are weaponizing. So this man is not weaponizing the Department of Justice. We're not weaponizing the Department of Justice. It's the opposite. I mean, and also, nobody questions what I'm saying because it's true, because we all lived the past 4 years. So listen.
They never want to bring up the details, but I watch the fake news, and he's weaponized, and he wants to say.
Wow, Brandon, that's a trip. You got a noise complaint for playing Charlie Kirk's podcast. You're surrounded by a bunch of betas, bro. Beta.
Send them to prison. He wants all these. They indicted me like 5 times. I took a mugshot. Who would have thought it turned out to my favor? Because it was a good shot. But I had to take a mugshot. It's right out there in the door. New York Post, front page of every paper in the world. I had a mugshot. They wanted to send me. Nobody says that. They say he's acting very, very tough. He's acting unfair. Let me tell you, if they've been nice to anybody, it's to those criminals, because they are so good having to do with all of the things we're talking about today with violent crime. But if anything, I think this Justice Department has been so respectful of the law, because the other Justice Department, with Rita or Lisa and all of that scum, real scum, what they did to the political opponent of a guy that has a seriously low IQ. Now, in his case, it was low based on his career, but it got real low, okay? It was descending rapidly.
Oh.
But what they did.
Don't make me play the video. You know I'll play that video in a heartbeat.
To go after his political opponent is legendary, worse than any third world country, banana republic. And what we're doing is nothing. Are you kidding? Nothing. They write stories. Why aren't they doing this? And we'll leave. I don't have to leave it up to them, but I choose to at this moment, at least. But there's never been anybody treated in the history of politics.
You want me to play it?
You know, they say the two worst treated presidents by the media, etc., was that man right there, the late, great Abraham Lincoln.
We'll do it. I love it. Here we go.
Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person
The way that Trump looks over at him,
eligible for what I've been able to do with the with the COVID. Excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare.
He did do a damn thing.
Wow.
Dealing with
that sound. Remember,
with
the sound he makes, the sound Biden makes when he puts his head down, he goes. I have it saved on my soundboard. Watch this. I'll play it when he does it. Watch this.
Do with
right here.
Look.
You hear that? Watch. I literally saved that piece of it. This is the moment, guys.
Everything we have to do with.
Listen.
Look.
Oh my God, bro.
Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Oh my gosh. And then I got the best one. I got the best Joe, whatever, Scarborough.
This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever.
And I do, not new ones. I have the same ones that I had up there for the women. Did you see those that I put up? Pete Hegseth, did you see those?
This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever.
Oh my God.
And this graph right there.
Can you imagine we're about to have that for another 4 years? Oh, you didn't see those? Ange, here are the palate cleanse for the girls. You asked for it, so I made a couple with the help of Miss Medication. Check it out. Here's palate cleanser number 1. What do you think? Right here? Right here, there's number 1, 2. So this is Brandon Gill. This is Pete Hegseth, Josh Hawley, Barron Trump, and RFK. Boom, 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 boom.
Jackson. They say Andrew Jackson was treated terribly. They give him number 1 and number 2, but that was before I came along, Newt. I say I have number 1 times 10. Nobody's been treated like I've been treated. And I did a great job. You know, we had a great first term. And we had one of the most successful economies in history, et cetera. I rebuilt the military. We did a tremendous amount. The last part, we had a horrible thing called COVID, and we handled that well. We made ventilators
Pete
for
Hegseth,
nations all over the world. We did a great job. Probably.
I agree with Joshua. Brandon Gill needs to play the next Superman. I agree. He could totally do that. Here he is again. Brandon Gill right here. Boom. He could do Superman, no problem. No problem. She's not here with me right now, but I'll let her know. Thanks, Ange.
Probably never get credit for it. Look at the therapeutics, the Regeneron, all the different things, the vaccines, all the things we did. We did a great job, but we had to focus on that. But we had the best economy in the history of our country. We're blowing it away right now. Look at the stock market. It hit another all-time high today. That's 48 days out of the few days that I've served. 48 days have already hit record highs. And we have, maybe most importantly, the number, we have now, I was saying 17, it's over $18 trillion is being poured into our country. It's because of the election and because of tariffs. Without the tariffs, you wouldn't have probably 18 cents. It's because of the tariffs, because there are no tariffs if they build in our country. And they understand that. So we have medical companies coming over. We have the AI. We're dominating China in AI. Everybody said that's impossible. We're dominating. I'm letting these massive plants build their own electric generating plants. They're becoming utilities in addition to everything. Maybe they'll make more money with that. Who knows? But they're building their own electric because we have an old grid. You wouldn't be able to do that. And we're dominating China. We're dominating with AI, which seems to be the new big thing. That's the new internet. That's the new whatever. So we're very happy with the job we're doing. I'm very happy with the job they're doing. But when you tell me about attacking a political opponent, there's never been, and I'm a legitimate opponent. I watch my son. He's got the #1 best-selling book now. My son, Eric, is a wonderful kid. That guy spent so much time with subpoenas. He got more subpoenas than anybody in the history of our country. Think of it. And he's an innocent, good boy. He's a good kid. He's always been a good kid. All of my children are good. They went through hell. My children went through federal grand juries on a hoax. Think of it. You have Adam Schiff and Hillary Clinton and others make up a hoax and then wanting to put, so they know it's a hoax.
Yeah.
And they go before the press, say Donald Trump Jr. will go to jail because of what he's done with Russia. I'll never forget, I get a call from my son, Don, and he said, Dad, I'm being accused of something with Russia. I don't know anything about Russia. He didn't know anything about it. Think of it, how bad they are.
Wow.
They say he'll go to prison for the rest of his life. He knew nothing about it. On a hoax, the Russian hoax, Russia hoax, on a story that they made up. And they made it up in order to explain why Hillary Clinton lost an election that she lost by pretty good numbers. The second one, actually the second one was even better, but the third one, this one was too big to rig. It was just too big to rig. They would have rigged. They tried to rig it. But think of it. They want to send my children to jail, but they were after Don in particular.
Insane.
I'll never forget Adam Shifty Schiff, a total crooked guy, lying in Congress, making up a phone conversation that I have with you, totally made up. Then when he heard it was taped, he wanted to disappear. And Nancy Pelosi went crazy because they wanted to impeach me based on the conversation that was made up. When they heard the tape, everybody, I won it unanimously in the Republican Party. I got every single vote, something that never happens, and I beat it. But think of it, they want to put my son in jail for something that they made up. So they know they made it up. And they say he will serve the rest of his life in prison. These are sick, bad people. And don't tell me about us going after them. If anything, we've been very, very soft. I wouldn't be that soft, I'll tell you that. Thank you very much, everybody.
He's pissed. It just him talking about it just made him pissed again. Look at him. He's like bent. He's pissed right now.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Let's go. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Let's keep going. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Take a look. Location.
Thank you, guys.
It's going to be a beautiful day.
Thanks, guys. Let's go. Pack up. Let's go. Thanks, guys.
I'd be pissed.
Keep going.
Wow.
Okay, Jason, thank you, guys.
Wow. I'd be fucking pissed, dude. I'd be so mad. Yeah. Guys, thanks for coming along for the ride this morning. And we're going to be back at it tomorrow. Oh, this number went up and it didn't refresh. What happened there? My subscriber number went up and it didn't refresh. Let me refresh it right now because it went up. Where is it? Subscriber box. Here it is. Boom. 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 Let's go like this and then like this. And there it is. Guys, thank you again. I hit 5K. We're at 5,063. We went up like 200 subscribers just from this stream right here. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Linda, Joshua, Connor, State Line, thank you, man. You are the man. Ange, love you. Mac, glad to have you. Aquarium, 5K, baby. Dude, it's nuts. Thank you, Ange. Again, thank you for joining my membership. You got the medication. You have the microdose membership. Thank you, guys. We got our what's it called set up. We got our what's the name of it? Discord set up. So we're all dialed in, and yeah, we're moving. Aquariums, we're moving, bro. We're trying to hit. We're at 5K. Want to go nuts, dude. We're going to do this thing. It's going to be insane. So thank you guys. Thank you. You guys are the OGs, man. Love you guys. Hell yeah. You guys are the highlight of every one of my days, man. Thank you guys so much. Love you. Mark, thank you. Everybody, thank you. And I'll see you guys later this evening. Hell yeah. Thanks. See you guys. Bye-bye.